everybody! Hi! It's me, John. Hi, I'm here for Gamesline, the website for video games and video gaming and talking about video games. I'm John. Hello. Taking a
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm taking a
You
morose
think
tone right now because gaming continues. Gaming
Why
continues to
why is
happen
that why is that morose?
not excited
because it's out of
for
control.
everything that used to happen?
It's out of control. There's too much of it.
This isn't the 90s anymore. You can't be this radical with your gaming anymore.
Sad, isn't it? What are we supposed to?
We're supposed to buy the $100 Virtual Boy Shop as
We'll
offered
get
by
to that in a
Nintendo.
moment because that's an argument that I've had with myself. Um. Anyway, hi, it's me, John. Hello, I'm hosting once again. With me this week, as you can see, are an illustrious group of ne'er do wells and also geniuses at the same time. Which those are the kind of folks that I respect the most. Nikolas, you're here, and you seem to have like three like young with you. Did you give birth or something? What's going on?
What do you mean?
Did
What are
you
you
just
talking about?
did you just eat them? Like what happened? You had three like Nicolaslings there, and now they're gone.
Oh shit, it's the cops.
All right. Well, I guess it's just gonna be Lily. You're here.
Hello, I'm trapped in the megastructure.
How is it in the megastructure?
It's big, it's constantly expanding in ways too myriad for human minds to understand, but I'm fine.
Okay. Well, as long as you're alright, and it seems like you're also running MS DOS in there for somehow. Um.
That's a surprise tool that I will reveal later.
Okay. And
Don't open your bank account while the podcast is running, by the way.
okay, I'll do my best not to.
Go.
And Nicholas, I think the cops are gone. You can come back.
Gotta believe.
They were never here. Fine.
Thank goodness.
Look,
All
I,
right.
I, I don't mean to say this to yuck your yum, but it like you playing around with your little guy is like a puppet is a little funnier because it has like little like white on the side, like you didn't
Yeah.
crop it perfectly. It makes it a little funnier. That's why I'm saying that. It's a little funnier. Um, but we also have Crystal. Crystal, you're here.
That's me.
Hello, Crystal. Where are you located this time? Are you in some sort of like cell or like an area? I don't know. Where are you at?
Uh, I'm in heaven.
How'd you get up there?
I was shot by Vice President of the United States, Aaron Burr.
Oh shit! I didn't even know he was still around.
He
Oh,
looks
his reign of terror never ended.
his facial tone looks a little coppery.
Yeah, it looks like
True.
people have been like rubbing their hands on his face for whatever reason.
That's what happens when you get old.
That's true. Yeah.
Stone Cold Killer.
Well, how is it up in heaven? Do they have gaming up there?
Wouldn't you know it? God does not allow video games in heaven.
Do you know if they allow it in hell? Because that
What
may sway
they
what I.
absolutely do. I'll say that right now. That's part of our ad campaign.
Okay, this may sway the rest of my life now. I'm gonna just start. I'm gonna start just doing people wrong. That's what it seems. That's what's gonna happen now because of this information that I was just given. So thank you for changing my life. And
That down in hell, the Vita was the most popular console ever. Actually, a lot of people on the go down there.
well, Vita does mean
Say
life.
Vita fans went to hell.
I'm saying it right now.
I wish
Yeah.
I wish I could have made a funny joke about a PS Vita game, but I cannot remember a single one. I always get I always get worried I'm gonna mess up between PS Vita and PSP.
PS Vita games. Danganronpa is a PS Vita game.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can see why it's so popular in hell now.
PS Vita game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people in hell were excited for the latest Nintendo Direct for a multitude of reasons. Which
Don't disparage me.
look, I don't know. Was there any? We can get into it. I don't know if there was anything on there that you were interested in, Lily, for real. But let's go through that, because hey, yeah, we can just hop right into the news. Because yeah, this was the longest Nintendo Direct they've ever done. As if you don't count the like Switch showcase that they did, which I actually think it might have been longer than that. But yeah, this was their longest Nintendo Direct, and funnily enough, it was one of the weakest, I would say. Like maybe not of all time, but it wasn't very exciting. There was a lot of stuff that was kind of bad on there. Not a lot of exciting stuff going on. A lot of stuff that were just re-releases, which, you know, sometimes those are nice, sometimes they're not. A lot of DLC. There was a lot of stuff that was like, this isn't coming out for another like year and a half. Just not very exciting, I would say. Very mid. But let's start going through some of this stuff here. They started off with a Mario Jamboree, because it is Mario's 40th anniversary. How are we all feeling about Mario being 40 goddamn years old?
Oh, he
looks
he hasn't slowed down yet. I mean, when he's got to start thinking about retirement.
You think so? I mean, he's a plumber. Do you think he needs to like do? No, he could just keep going.
I don't know. I mean, as a working professional, he should start having standards for himself. I think.
That's true.
I mean, maybe he just likes the work.
It's Mario.
He does it
Okay.
for self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems healthy enough. He doesn't seem like he has any money problems or like health issues.
I mean, he has more than one job, though, right? I mean, he's jumping, he's a doctor, he's a racer.
I don't think he's doing it to make ends meet. I think he's just doing it for self-fulfillment and learning.
I mean, Mario is clearly in a different tax bracket than I am. Then.
Yeah.
That guy is a homeowner.
That is actually that is true. He does have a house that he shares with his brother. So so they did show some things. They showed some things in celebration of Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm gonna show one of the things on here, because it was just for a moment. Keep forgetting that I have to bump up the quality of the room, which is like an insane prospect. Like, all right, so yeah, so they showed this, which is the trailer for the second Mario movie, which I'm surprised it's coming as soon as it is. It's next spring, and the Super Mario Galaxy movie, as you can see on YouTube right here. That
Why are they titling these things this way?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god, those Mario cheeps. Oh my god.
That's the Princess Castle. Wow, there it is.
You Are Mr. Gay movie.
Yes, we're
Wow.
finally getting the You Are Mr. Gay movie. I can't believe it. I've been waiting for so long.
I wonder what's for dinner.
Listen, when they announce Mama Luigi when they make a reference to Mama Luigi, that'll be when I clap and cry and scream the theater.
In the theater?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. This is spoiling a bunch of the stuff, so I'm just gonna. Yeah, everyone's gonna be so upset because they're spoiling the Nintendo Direct while we
Well,
talk about it.
happened.
I can't believe. No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to once again talk about how Metroid Prime 4 will come out eventually.
They did give a
Around
date.
this year.
They gave a date. Metro
I
Metro Prime
Why is
4.
that game?
What?
Why does that game look like that?
Which one? Metroid?
Yeah, it's like so. How do you describe it? Everything's a little too shiny.
It is very shiny. Yeah. Guess
Because
I'll.
that's how they show off their cool new technology.
I guess
Of shininess?
of shininess.
Yeah. That more shine means more lighting, and more lighting means more powerful console hardware.
That's true.
It's
That's
an
why the Wii. That's why
approximation.
the Galaxy games look like that.
It's an approximation of ray tracing.
Yeah, I'll pull up the footy for that one too. The big thing that they showed specifically was, oh my goodness, everybody, there's a Samus has got a motorcycle in this, because
The lack of your enthusiasm in your voice for all of these announcements suggests to me that Nintendo is washed.
I don't know about like forever, but I mean a lot of
It's
this.
been a while.
What are their prospects?
I don't know, but
They're
look,
done. They're over.
no,
Well,
I'm not
if
saying.
you want to be a negative Nancy about, listen,
We're
the
all being
company.
negative Nancy's because there's nothing to be positive about.
I still want to play Metro Prime 4. I do,
Why?
because
Please tell me why.
I really liked Metro Prime 1, and I want to see what Metro Prime 4 is.
Look at
So
look
you're
at this
saying
But
they've shown you the game, and you
mhm.
can't name a positive thing about the game. Oh, the only thing you've mentioned is the association with the different game that you like.
I mean, I suppose. Well, watch this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, there's Metro Prime stuff. There you go. That's what I like.
Please tell me what you like about this, please.
I like when you shoot things in first person as Samus Aran. You're scanning things. You're traveling around and traversing and finding new areas and doing Metroidvania stuff. You know, getting new
Okay.
skills and abilities and being able to enter new areas that you previously were not able to. Really, the only problem is I'm just a little worried about. I don't know if a little worried is what I would say. Maybe big worried. But the thing that worries me is the motorcycle, specifically in how they're seemingly doing some like weird open world shit. Cause like, what's going on? Like, hello. Yeah, look at all that stuff you can do. You know. um. That is not very exciting. I mean, the motorcycle might be fun to drive, which might make it a little bit better. Um, but I don't care for just like bland open world stuff like that just to say that you have an open world. You know? That's how I feel about it.
I mean, it looks very empty.
Yeah.
Big.
But then once you get into the area, like it's like, oh yeah, I pulled my motorcycle over it. Now, oh here's Metro Prime. This is what I want. Like, I don't know.
Is it uncomfortable to say that it kind of reminds me, and maybe this is like a low blow here, but it just kind of feels like the open world of No More Heroes randomly,
It,
motorcycle and all.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, you are
totally.
exactly right.
Mhm. And they made that kind of like, you know, there's a lot of talk recently about like game design choices and how if they're good or bad depending on if they were done on purpose or not and all that. And at the very least I can say that No More Heroes like empty open world was at least incorporated into the like lore and the feeling of the game. But it can still be argued for and against, like, was that a good idea? Should they have done that?
Yeah, and I
Because
mean, artistic intention can be what the artist intended and still not be received well.
hmm,
And at the same time, it could also just be a product of limitations. But I guess the main thing that comes to mind is like, so I at this point have played the three primary, like Metroid Prime, like first person. Like I haven't played the handheld one or whatever,
which is
but
solid.
I mean, I have always liked the first and the second's more cohesive planetary design rather than three's interplanetary design. And honestly, even though I'm not thrilled by an open world as like being like a concept that we need to explore with a Metroidvania, because like part of the appeal of a Metroidvania is having a kind of tight, tailored experience, but I don't know. It's really hard to say, especially with something that has been cooking for as long as Metroid Prime 4. Like defaulting to optimism doesn't feel like the correct call, but I also don't want to just I don't know, descend into Twitter user cynicism quite so quickly, but I don't know. I'll see it when I see it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's giving me pause for sure. Like the open world stuff is giving me pause when I was pretty much just like, yeah, more Metroid Prime for a good while. It's like it's like I hope
It's
I would like for it to just
sorry, go on.
I would just like for it to be
It,
good.
it looks a lot like the shrines in Breath of the Wild, where you're gonna go find like a little Metroidvania map and solve that one, and then drive to the next one.
Which is very much not the appeal of Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like,
from how
all I was going to say is like Metroidvania kind of is like the same kind of cognition that happens when people freak the heck out in Souls games, where they're like, "Oh my God, the map loops back into itself." That's very much the same kind of thing that happens with Metroidvanias, and having something where it's a somewhat abstruse corridor is not the same thing as that like kind of experience of understanding how the world map clicks together.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but yeah.
What were you saying, Nicholas?
from the way they presented it, like because this is like what is it, the third or fourth trailer for this game, like legitimate one.
Yeah.
Like this is not a new time. I think honestly, if this was an open world like game legitimately, they would have just revealed that earlier. I think this is more like there are going to be levels specifically dedicated to you being on a bike in an open world, unless they've specifically stated that the game is going to be more open. I feel like this sort of thing, it makes more sense to reveal like, oh, this is one cool level idea that we have like this late on into showing stuff off of the game, because they've been Metroid Prime 4, like we've actually been seeing stuff of it for long enough that I feel like something as crucial as, oh, by the way, it's an open world and levels are actually just strewn around about it. I feel like that would have been shown off sooner in a dedicated segment instead of just dropping that in your like third or fourth trailer. I think
Yeah,
it
maybe.
it, it feels more realistic to me that it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, here's a cool motorcycle level since that's a cool little thing we can show off.
I mean, maybe they are seeming to kind of push the motorcycle a bit because they did also reveal that there's going to be amiibos for this game. And one of them is just Samus. One of them is Samus riding the motorcycle, which the motorcycle has a name. It is Viola. It's VI-O-LA. And then they're putting out an amiibo of Silex, who is, I guess, the main villain of this. He's from the handheld game. So Lily, yeah, you gotta go play Metro Prime Hunters before you play 4, or else you're gonna be missing out.
I don't really even own a Switch 2 at this point, so
I know, I'm just.
I don't I
I'm
can't let Silex into my house. I don't have to open my front door to him. He's
teasing.
fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
What if he
am
asks
happy for the
very nicely?
silence. What'd you say, Nicholas?
What if he asks very nicely?
Uh, my neighborhood has a big sign on it that says no solicitors, and that includes solicitors from space.
No,
Okay.
no
I didn't know if the
Silexiters.
rules were different.
Thank you.
I am happy for the Silex people because I remember when Metroid Prime Hunters came out, people were like, wow, Silex. This seems like Samus's new rival. I can't wait for Silex to show up in the next game. And then they never did, but now they are.
He's a cool design. Like, don't get me wrong. The weird thing is that the Samus and Viola amiibos are coming out on November 6th, and then the Silex amiibo is coming out alongside the game on December 4th. So I don't know why they're releasing amiibos for this game like a month before you can use them.
Hype.
I don't know. Weird. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, hype, but still just weird. You're just gonna be like, wow. You know, you could. Wow, there's Pepsi Man getting his ass bit by a dog. I'm looking at him. Amazing. I would get an amiibo of Pepsi. Crystal, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Spotty
just-
Wi-Fi in heaven.
No, I
Yeah.
noticed the auto gain was on, so I turned it off in the URL bar.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to.
It's a little inside baseball for the audience.
Oh, okay.
They don't have video games in heaven. Why would they have good internet?
True.
That's fair. Then you're completely free from the dramas of the internet.
Yeah. You don't know what's happening in Nintendo Directs.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, so back to Super Mario, the guy that everyone loves. They announced a bunch of other stuff with regards to Mario that are a bit much. So after they talked about the movie, they said, "Well, hey, you know, Super Mario Galaxy movie, you should be able to play Mario Galaxy, right?" And they did release Mario Galaxy in that Mario All-Stars collection a while ago, which they took off of the eShop and you can't buy it anymore. It was a decent, it was a basic but decent collection where it was just like, yeah, here's these 3 games for like what I think it was like $50, and they run fine. They've got like, you can remappable controls and all that. Obviously, you could just run all of those games on Dolphin, and you could just do whatever the hell you want with them. But for people who don't want to mess around with that kind of stuff, it was a decent bundle. And then they just got rid of it though. So now they're like, okay, well, we're making a Mario Galaxy movie. People got to be able to play Mario Galaxy. So they're re-releasing Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 in a bundle on October 2nd. That there's a physical version that has both of them, and then you can get each of them separately on digital stores. They are $40 each digitally and $70 altogether physically. Which, if you recall, Mario All-Stars was not that much. It was like 50 or 60, I don't remember. But that's still less than 70, and that was 3 games. And this is 2, and it's 70. And if you have
Sorry, just I don't even want to be like necessarily inflammatory, but it's like we have the ability to end these patterns, you guys. You can't just be buying the same game over and over again for worse prices every time.
Yeah.
But
And I mean,
Nintendo, I have to.
I mean, maybe that is like the underscoring, like underline of the entire direct, frankly. But I don't know. It is actively hard for me to not be cynical about this kind of thing when it's just like no offense intended to any persons present, but it's like, okay, you're buying it again for a worse price.
Mhm.
And it's just I guess that's ultimately the end of my statement. Just you have the power to end these patterns, you guys.
Yeah,
You can't keep gulping down whatever Nintendo craps your way. I'm sorry.
it's one of those things where a lot of the stuff that they announced is stuff that I would be interested in. But because of the way that they're selling it, because of the way that it's being charged for, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I would buy a I would buy Galaxy 2 because that Mario All Stars did not have Galaxy 2. It had Galaxy 1 and then Sunshine and 64. But if they were just like, "Oh, hey, Mario Galaxy 2 is up on the eShop for $20." Or even if they were like, "Oh, hey, we're doing this bundle, Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, 40, 30, 40, whatever." Okay. But they're charging the full price for these old games. And the reason why I guess they have the fucking gall to do that is they're saying that there is going to be better UI, uh motion controls that are optional, an in-game music player, enhanced resolutions, and if you remember in the Mario Galaxy games, you could look at Rosalina's storybook. They're adding new pages to Rosalina's storybook. You could look at those in the game.
Oh, Brave New World.
Yeah, you get to see new art of Rosalina standing next to Illuma and looking up to the sky and being like, "Wow, I'm from space." You can look at that if you want.
Um, I kind of have to take Nintendo's side on this one, honestly. This seems like a reasonable price for two games that are considered some of the best Nintendo games.
Are you
No,
Like, would you not pay $35 for Mario Galaxy 2?
no.
No.
What's your price for Mario Galaxy 2?
My price is I already bought it.
You already bought it. You have your Wii
Yeah.
hooked up?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You beat Nintendo.
a complete in box copy of Super Mario Galaxy 2 goes for $25.
Okay.
And then
So they're charging $10 more for each.
a complete in box copy of Mario Galaxy 1 is 15. So,
That's true. How much is a Wii though?
how much is a Switch 2?
It's $450.
And a Wii and
There's no way a Wii is 450.
Yeah, tell you what though, a Wii it can only play in 480p.
Look.
Resolution isn't worth that much to me.
You know what resolution the games were made for? 480p. I don't care.
Yeah. Look, they're I don't think it's enough. Here's another hilarious thing though. Here's another hilarious thing about this. They also announced, "Oh, hey, we're releasing a physical version of Rosalina's storybook for like $25." Which is kind of a cute idea. I'm not like super opposed to that. But they specifically said we are not putting the new pages that are being added in the Switch version into the physical version. It is just the old book.
That's pretty good.
It's insane. What's going on?
You gotta hold stuff. You gotta hold some stuff back for the album.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. You have to hold it back so that
You
way
can
people
buy the
buy the
game?
new game. Yeah,
Yeah,
buy the
yeah.
game, idiot. Buy it.
I'm
Then
not
why
buying
shouldn't
it.
you? Aren't they considered some of the greatest games ever made?
They're solid. I like Mario Galaxy just fine.
They are some of the games ever made.
They are Mario platformer.
Don't
This-
these MFs have like 97 Metacritics?
This is a bundle that, again, if this went on sale eventually, if I could pick this up for like $40, then sure. But Nintendo doesn't put their games on sale, so I'm not interested.
They're not gonna make a better game than Super Mario Galaxy for the Switch 2.
They already did. It's Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah, oh my god, both the Galaxy games are on the top 5 on Metacritic. What the hell?
They're beloved.
Metacritic's a bad
That
website.
much?
Metacritic's a bad website. Metacritic's
Mario Galaxy 2 is not the second best Mario game of all time.
I mean, I also think that, again, when you look at website I mean, this is a whole different topic altogether, but if we're going to talk about this, with websites like Metacritic, as they exist, they're going to fundamentally funnel media that offends the sensibilities of the least amount of people possible upward. And rather than representing any real illusion of meritocracy, it's only going to just show you what everyone aggressively handshakes to already believe to be a good game.
That
And I'm
makes
not
sense
saying,
why Nintendo is rewarded often on Metacritic.
well, it's because Nintendo, in their kind of Disney-esque approach, seeks to be anodyne in all things. Except money, of course. If you're poor, then they don't care about offending you.
I like Nintendo games a lot. I like Mario Galaxy a lot. But we were just
Not
talking
worth
about the
$25 though.
Sorry?
I mean, you like it specifically $25 worth.
I guess.
You've put a number to it.
I mean, I suppose. Like, it's an experience that I can have. Like, I can play Mario Galaxy in multitude of different ways. Like, I could play it on the Wii, I could play it on an emulator, I could play it on the Switch. I can play it on my Switch 2 right now. I just can't play Mario Galaxy 2 on my Switch 2 right now. But I could play it on an emulator, I could play that on a Wii, I could play it on a Wii U, and I can experience that I can experience that art that way. And I think that there are fair prices to charge for different things. And, based on age and also the amount of work that was put into it and all that, I think that should be taken into some form of consideration. But, it's also just a feeling. It's also just, that's too much money to ask for something like that. In my opinion, there's plenty of people that are going to be buying this anyway. There's plenty of people that are going to go, ooh, Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch. I will pay $70 for it. And whatever. That's fine. This is just how I feel.
Oh, looks like they do have individual digital releases for 40.
That's still too much. For me.
Okay.
Crystal, if you want to go pick up Mario Galaxy 2 for $40 right now, I'm not going to stop you. Go do what you want.
No.
Then okay.
I don't even own the Switch too.
Okay.
I think the crux of this conversation has been that none of us want to pay $40 for Super Mario Galaxy 2.
If someone wants to pay me $40 to play Super Mario Galaxy 2, I can easily accept that arrangement. I will not be paying $40 on a console I do not own to play Mario Galaxy 2.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I throw my Patreon in the ring.
There you go.
$40 increments of every time you want me to play through Mario Galaxy 2. I won't even record it. I'll just play it and guarantee you that I did it.
Is Metroid Prime 4 worth $70?
I still don't really like the $70 price for games. I know that it's such it's $10 more than what stuff was. It still just feels wrong to me.
Never pay more than $20 for a video game.
Now that's wisdom.
And let me see. Inflation.
I think it's like 43 or something now.
Did you just Google Monkey Island inflation on the internet?
Yes, and and the right website came up. So
Hell yeah.
we're good.
On the podcast, John.
$48.06.
Well, he's not streaming it.
$48.06. That's
you heard it
more
here
than
first,
Super
everyone.
Mario Galaxy is worth.
You heard it here, everyone. Go to your web browser and look up Monkey Island inflation and see what happens.
And it's the first link.
I don't think that's super relevant on topic. We're talking about Mario Galaxy, right? So Mario Galaxy inflation.
Oh no. Get
Oh
at
no,
me.
I just got a bunch of the Yoshi because that's in 2.
Okay. Well, there you
This
go.
joke was
Same.
not as thought. Oh well, I've gotten some salacious stuff with the Yoshi from 2. This was kind of thought out.
Mhm.
Oh goodness,
Um.
I'm surprised it was not the first thing. I'm
Oh mein
surprised.
Gott.
I forgot there was an actual thing.
All right, we got to keep going. We're already pretty deep in here. They've also announced that there's going to be an expansion to Mario Wonder, which is going to be in spring. It's going to have new multiplayer modes and also some other form of single player stuff. They didn't really elaborate on the single player stuff. They just talked about a bunch of the multiplayer stuff. They didn't really say if this was going to be paid or anything like that. But they said it was going to be the Switch 2 edition. So it's probably going to be one of those things where you could pay like $10-$20 to upgrade it, which I don't know. I guess it depends on what the content is and if you feel like it's worth the money. And they also announced that they're making a physical version of the talking flower from Mario Wonder. Like the fucking little flower thing that's just like, "Oh, you're on an adventure. How's it going? I'm the flower." You could buy one of those if you... I don't. And the last Mario related thing. Oh, I guess it's not true, but the last thing in this like bundle that they put at the start was they also announced another Yoshi game, which is a Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Let me pull that up.
Cute.
Yoshi finds a mysterious rock.
Yeah, Yoshi.
7-hour long part 2.
Yeah, Yoshi finds a mysterious rock.
I have a fondness for games that are truly made for babies.
Yeah,
I
I think this looks really cute. I think this looks good.
I will genuinely sometimes just look up like Yoshi Crafted World, Yoshi Woolly World gameplay, long play, and put it on if I am having that much trouble falling asleep that like I need an actual sleep aid in front of me. So games made for actual babies at least have some purpose for existing. I have new footage to go to bed with during this
I
game got announced. That's more than 90% of the games that got revealed in this direct are ever going to do for me.
Wow.
literally I do the same thing with Yoshi's Story sometimes.
Sick. The sleep aid. See?
I think this looks
Very
really
nice
cute. Look at
blue
this.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Put 'em. It's adorable.
I wouldn't pay 70 for it.
I don't know about that.
This is like I find it on the 3DS eShop on sale for 30 and I'm still like, I don't know.
What we've established is that Nintendo has never made a game worth more than $25.
I do you want to know what price bracket Nintendo occupies for me? Are you ready for this?
But
Please.
Nintendo's price bracket for me is going over to my grandmother's house and she has already bought them core.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I paid $60 for all those Xenoblade games, and I was pretty happy with my purchase.
Yeah, well
Okay.
that's different. That's
Those are,
not like a Nintendo game.
those are good
I
games.
think
No.
there's an immediately obvious difference between Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Yoshi and the Mysterious Rock. Like
What if...
those are on opposite sides of the planet.
Okay, but what if like the mystery of the book is so incredible that it is worth the money? What if it's just like,
What
yeah,
if Pyra and Mithra found the mysterious book?
you know,
You say
okay,
I mean the plot of Xenoblade 2 is just what if Rex finds a mysterious rock?
yeah, that
That's
is
what they, that's
literally what
they are.
that. God,
This is gonna be the 4th game.
yeah, this is Xenoblade 4.
They're gonna hide it inside of this.
That'll be
It's a
worth it.
Yoshi game for like the first half.
That'll be worth it.
Yeah, Rex will inexplicably have 7 spouses now.
And one of them is Yoshi.
I want you to know that that made me like recoil into my face. Like if you had like given a cat like a lemon.
That's not okay. How it's like Yoshi's Island DS. You play as the Yoshi, and then all the kids from the Xenoblade series, it's like they ride his back.
I mean, that'd be hype, actually.
You have to use baby Glimmer to do the double jump.
So have we milked everything possible out of the Nintendo Direct?
No, we're
have we
just
gotten...
starting.
No, please.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll try to go. I'll try to go here. Okay. Another insane thing that they announced. Another insane thing that was announced. They are they're putting Virtual Boy on Switch Online.
Oh, so you want to fight today? I see.
Maybe I don't know. Why do you want to fight about this topic? That is, I haven't even said anything like for or against this. This is just this is just
It's
what's
just a
happening.
topic that creates fighting. It is the equivalent of walking into a bar and saying, "Hey, you guys want to fight?"
I guess so. Yeah. So that I think it's really funny that they're doing this. I want to play some of these games. But again, the way that they are doing this is annoying because they are selling this Virtual Boy thing. They're selling an actual like thing that you put your face into, like the original Virtual Boy. You have to crack it open and slide your Switch into it to play the games. And it's $100.
They're also selling a cardboard version for 25.
Correct. Which is still a big ask, because it's cardboard
For this too,
for 14 games.
that are drip feeded to you, by the way.
Yeah, and which like maybe 4 or 5 of these are actually good.
Oh my god, and 2 of them are Tetris.
Two of them are Tetris. One of them is Space Invaders. I mean, like Wario Land is good. Teller Boxer's decent. Jack Bros is good, and I mean 3D Tetris is cool. I don't know if I'd say it's good, but it's cool. And then the Innsmouth game is good. I'm actually like really happy that they're bringing that over. You know, if they translate it and all that, or if it was translated already, I don't remember. Um, but like there's a hand. Like thing is they're not missing too many games. There's maybe like another like dozen that ever came out that they're just not going to release on there, and it's mostly because it's like Water World, so they can't get the rights to it probably. Shit like that. Virtual Lab, which should definitely look up the Bad Game Hall of Fame coverage for Virtual Lab. That's some very cool stuff. But $100 or 25 if you want the cardboard, because I'm sure that if you try to just run it by itself, it's gonna be all blurry because you need to like, you know, have the lenses to make it so you can see it, which sucks.
Nintendo flirted with 3D a little bit with Nintendo Labo, where they had the 3D modes for Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. Um, I am potentially interested to see if they will do more with this, which they probably won't. Nintendo likes to do little one-offs, but maybe 3DS game?
That'd be nice, but it would also be really funny to be like, okay, put your Virtual Boy on to play 3DS games.
It's the most optimal way to play Snake Eater Delta.
Yeah. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
this is coming out February 17th. You know, alongside all of this shit.
Wait, oh my god, it's online and expansion pack. You have to pay the more expensive version too. Jesus.
Which I'll be honest, I have that because I wanted to get the GameCube games, so this is just kind of more icing on the cake for something that I'm already I've already gotten. And I'm splitting it with my roommate. I'm not paying the full however much. I think it's
God.
60 or whatever. Um
That cardboard one, just like staring at it like I am right now, looks like something that they used to dispense napkins at a child's birthday party.
it does.
I mean, that's probably what it will be used for, like the week after they buy it.
No. It's going to have a long and expansive career in the background shelving of a soon-to-be YouTuber.
Ah,
That's gonna be me. Um but yeah,
well, John, you would never skimp. You're buying the Virtual Boy shell, right? You're not just buying the cardboard if you're going to be a Nintendo YouTuber. I mean, come on.
that's
Come on.
true.
You
But
can't skimp on this. You can't skimp on the Virtual Boy.
I urge you to skimp on it, because you know what? This is gonna be a novelty that you use for 2 days. So don't
yeah.
pay $100, pay
Wait,
25.
what?
And then you know what?
Two
With
two
that thing,
days,
you could probably like slot like an iPad into it and use 3D applications on that.
Wait,
2 days, and then 4 days of mandatory migraine recovery.
wait, but John, no one's actually going to buy the shell. If you buy it now for 100, it'll become a collector's item. You can sell that for like 300 in 6 years or something.
No.
In 16 years or something.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to
John,
I don't want to
John,
I
no.
don't want to have to participate in the speculative market. I just want to buy things and have
You're
fun
such
with
a
them.
genius.
I just want to enjoy video games.
I like 3D as a concept. I think it's cool. I wish that it was a little more like mainstream and affordable. I guess I am lightly excited by Nintendo doing this, even though again, I am not going to purchase this product.
Yeah. I mean the one thing that I will say is if they are seemingly being open to having like new attachments and stuff for old games and like the online stuff, the classics. You mentioned 3DS before, but it would be cool if they were just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like an extra screen that you could pop on the top of your Switch too, so you could play DS games. Like, I'd be more interested in that because there's more than 14 DS games that I would play. But
Or crossover of the century, we will eventually get Half-Life Alyx running on the Nintendo Virtual Boy.
sure, I don't know. I mean, again, it's a bad deal. It's fucking weird, and yeah, and it is really apparent that this high price is partially because of like tariffs and stuff like that. Because in Canada, it's the equivalent to 70 USD. Like Canadian prices are their own can of worms, but like it's equivalent to $70 US, which is still kind of a lot, but that is kind of what I was expecting them to be charging for something like not 100. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I'll if I know anyone who lives in Canada that gets one of these and can get it to me for maybe. But
Uh, I think the most cost-effective way for anyone to actually do this is download the Virtual Boy emulator on your phone, get one of those very cheap VR headsets that you just slot your phone into, and play
yeah,
that for 2 days.
yeah. Is it just gonna play
It's
like
not even going to be 2 days. You're going to get bored after like a couple hours.
I just want to play Jack Bros. That's it. That's what I want to do. I want to play Jack Bros. Um, God, there's still more Mario shit I forgot about. They're doing a new Mario Tennis. It just looks like Mario Tennis. They're like, oh, I guess there's gonna be like an adventure mode thing. But the adventure mode for the last Mario Golf wasn't that good. And there's also a new thing where you can pick different rackets that have special abilities. Like, you can set the ball on fire. This racket.
Bargain bin game.
$70.
More than 25 for this.
$70 for this.
Can I ask like an open question?
Please.
Just so for like we have a tonal change of pace, but was there anything in this direct that anyone was excited for?
I'd like to hear that as well.
There was one thing I was excited for because I'm kind of interested in just experiencing it, but I'm not actually excited for it.
What is it?
I want to. It's gonna be fun, like going through a Danganronpa, like a new one of those again, just because I like the murder mysteries and stuff. I think it is kind of lame that it exists, but it is. I like the list of murder mysteries. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna wait till I see that price tag. But that is like the only thing I had any vested interest in from the entire direct.
Which let me pull up the trailer for this
That's it.
one. Pull that up because yeah, this is definitely something that we can talk about here. They are doing a remake, remaster, some sort of Danganronpa 2. Not Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2. And they have also confirmed that there's going to be a separate route that is a new version of it, where like there's going to be new murders and new mysteries and everything. It's going to be a completely different story, just with the same characters and same setting.
He's
but
moving like the Nagito at it.
It's being written by the new route is being written by the guy who wrote Rain Code. I really
Was that Raincoat?
yeah.
I'd look that guy up on what was it? What's the site I used? Moby Game.
I thought it was. I mean, that's what Rose said. So if Rose is wrong, tell her that's wrong. And also, I guess tell me because I'm saying. But um. But yeah, Danganronpa 2 is one of my favorite games ever, and like I know that there's a lot of things where it's like things don't need remakes, and some games that I like I have gotten remakes for and I've enjoyed them, and some games I'm like I don't need to play this remake, it's fine, and it's like this could have been something that I might have been a little interested in, but I haven't been a fan of stuff that Kodaka's been involved in for a while, except I haven't played 100 Line yet. I'm gonna probably play it eventually, but it's like, having that and then also having it be like, oh, it's the guy who helped write one of the games that you really hate, going back to a game that you really, really loved. And also reflecting on the ending of V3 and how it's just like it feels like we've been circling the fucking drain about Danganronpa V3 for like it feels like 15 years now, and it's not, it hasn't been 15 years, but it feels like it because nobody can figure out if it's if you think if like no nobody can actually say no to money, and it's such a fucking weird thing, and I don't know, it's bizarre, and like it's called Danganronpa 2 times 2, so it's just gonna be they're just gonna and one of the twists is gonna be that it's actually Danganronpa 4, I don't know.
You think they'll do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see it.
I mean, spoilers for everybody. Do you know why Danganronpa V3 is called Danganronpa V3?
Yeah, it's 53.
Yeah. So
because they kept eating up the Danganronpas, and you know what? We're them.
I'm not. I'm not gonna be.
Okay, I'm proud of you for not being that.
Because I really like Danganronpa 1 and 2 a lot. Ultra Despair Girls had its moments, but a lot of it was gross. And then I thought that most of V3 was really good, and then I thought the ending was horrible. And I think that interacting with a fan base like that is just a really annoying way to live your life. And I don't really care for pieces of media that do stuff like that. Um, and I don't really care for Kodaka's work post V3, and then I'm gonna try not Raincoat. I'm gonna try 100 line, but I mean he's not even really involved with this. It's just a weird money grab that he's still putting his name on for whatever reason. I don't know.
Hey, were there any new intellectual properties in this direct?
Um, I mean, yeah, they had a game called Storm Lancers, which is a 2D side-scrolling roguelike adventure. Um, they had
Nothing too memorable, it seems like.
See, this is why we're like talking about like Yoshi having babies and Mario Galaxy inflation.
Papucom.
When we actually have to talk about games, we got nothing.
There was Dinkum, which was just like a farming game, but it's in Australia for some reason.
There was Pooh Boo. There was Floopsy.
There was.
Is Nintendo washed?
They have been for a while.
I mean, I don't want to just be like they're done for forever because I think saying that is dumb. Like it's just I just think this was a bad direct, and I mean I just think that gaming right now is in a bad spot in general. I would say, because of the price of everything, and I mean that's kind of it. Yeah, it's the price of everything. It's so expensive to make things, so now it's more expensive to buy those things, and it's all of the reasons why are because of bullshit aspects of capitalism that are just overreaching and ruining basically every single aspect of society. And it feels like it's just the same shit over and over, and that's it.
I think console gaming is definitely in a bad place for all the reasons that you said. On the PC, you can still get pretty good games for $25 or less, such as Pal World.
Hey, there's some cool games you can get on the Switch also, anyways, like Cop Officers Police Simulator of NYPD City, the game I will be bringing up at every opportunity.
Tell me about that one.
So with that, though, well, okay. If you go on the Switch eShop and you look up Cop Officers, you're going to get a company that makes the exact same shovelware game over and over again. They are flooding the eShop with this. They all have like default Mixamo animation assets used in them, and they're all awesome because they're all titled exactly like that. There's like, what was the other one from Cop Officer? I remember it was like Epic Ultimate Battle Ninja Samurai. Like just words we want to put into our tags, but we forgot we were writing in the title. The eShop's horrible. It's all shit like that. Or I want to dig a hole. Or a game, and I'm not exaggerating when I call it this at all. Funny Truck. And it's just a physics game where you drive a truck around like a Gmod map. And this is what the eShop is now. I had to scroll through for like 5 minutes to get to a real game, which was Shoot and Order. It is a mess. The Nintendo needs quality control. They they need to do everything. They need to do everything because they are not up to snuff anywhere. Oh, what a mess.
This whole thing has kind of gotten me depressed. As
Let's
we've
talk
been
about
talking about
something
it.
better.
I don't know. Is there anything else from this direct that we want to talk about? I mean, usually we go over everything about it, but I don't
I
know.
keep seeing people post stuff like, you can't say this was the worst direct ever, and then highlight specific Wii U directs and never say anything that was like good about this one. Because it was just like a bunch of, oh yeah, this is what Nintendo does now. I mean, Fire Emblem fans are probably happy, but it's like,
Yeah.
no one else really, none of the other games are ones I think people are super excited about.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really like elaborate on what's going on with that new Fire Emblem game, so it's a little hard to fully tell. But they did reveal that it's somehow tied in with Three Houses, so a bunch of people are getting mad about that
We getting mad about it? Not excited?
because Three Houses just draws in a bunch of discourse, so everyone's gonna argue.
Oh.
I
Well, I
think
guess that kind of makes them happy.
I think we owe ourselves the ability and the dignity to not imprison ourselves with the burden of other people's thoughts.
Sure.
Wise. Very wise.
I mean, someone else somewhere is mad about a game I'm not going to play. Not my problem though.
Yeah. All right. Let me. Okay. There's some Pokemon stuff. Can I talk about the Pokemon stuff and then we can move on? Because I actually.
As is your prerogative,
Okay.
sire.
All right. They announced that the Kalos starters, the starters from Gen 6, are gonna have Mega Evolutions. Delphox,
Whoa, no
Chesnaught,
way.
and Greninja. So the one thing that people are being upset about, which I kind of get, is people are worried because they said that the way that you get these Mega Stones is by playing the competitive online battles in ZA. Like you have to like participate in the in each season, like the first 3 seasons of the competitive, get the stones. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that's probably just how to get them early. Like I bet they'll be available elsewhere later. Especially because they also did announce DLC for Legends ZA, called the Mega Dimension, which
Oh.
involves some sort of alternate universe that you can go into. And they also have Mega Raichu X and Mega Raichu Y. So
I like Raichu.
yeah, Raichu's pretty cute. Um, yeah, I mean those things are things that I'm interested in for sure. Like Pokemon DLC is usually really solid. I know that there's folks that are like they're announcing DLC before the game came out. I mean, at the very least, I guess I'm just a little like it's. I'm not too upset about it because A, so many games do that and have been doing it for the past like 15 years, and B, it's kind of just like they've been doing DLC for their mainline games for the entire time they've been on the Switch, so it's not like it's a surprise, you know. Like they're just telling us now. Um,
Nintendo deserves to be spit on for all their decisions, though. Why should I give them any credit for this?
I don't know. I just choose to.
Buzz Nintendo.
I just choose to pick my battles, I guess.
My battle is against Nintendo.
My battle is against stuff that sucks, and sometimes that involves Nintendo, but also I like a lot of stuff that Nintendo.
Next news or
All right.
next game.
Okay. Yeah, one last thing that we'll talk about here. They announced strange Pokemon game, but something that I feel like people have been kind of asking for a while is a Pokopia, which is it looks like it's gonna be like a Harvest Moon Animal Crossing like thing, where you play as a Ditto that takes the form of a person and is doing like kind of a shitty job at it, so it's kind of cute. I'll pull up a. I'm already too lazy to trailers. I'm sorry. They are you play as this cute little like critter ditto, and you run into different Pokemon, and you can make, like, you can make a farm, you can make housing for them. You learn how to use their moves to do different things. Like Bulbasaur will be like, here, you can use leafage now, so you can plant grass. It looks cute. I've never really been into these kinds of games, but if you're into the farming sim type thing, I feel like I've been seeing people be like, they should make Pokemon Animal Crossing for like 20 years now. So here you go. They're kind of doing that.
Nintendo is a litigious company, and that aspect of them has been heating up lately. So when I saw this, the first thing I thought was, I hope the Cobblemon people have all their money in a Swiss bank account right now.
Um, I mean, if they're making money off of that in general, that would probably just get shut down, even if this wasn't happening. So, I mean, if you want to keep talking about Nintendo being litigious, I guess we could also do that bit of news too, because, and also you're gonna want to argue with me about it probably because
Yes.
okay. So, there was a patent that was recently cleared, for Pokemon games that was being reported on as saying that they had gotten the patent to just like summon a character and do battle, which there's no way that they would actually be able to get a patent for that because like there's so many games and other like just things that have done that previously. Like Shin Megami Tensei came before Pokemon, and so they would not be able to, own that concept because Shin Megami Tensei did it first. Um, but the thing that is being misrepresented is that they basically patented not that specifically, but the thing that you can do in Scarlet and Violet, where it's the Let's Go feature, where you have your Pokemon out on the field, and then you could point to another Pokemon, and then it runs over and battles them. They got a copyright for that, or a patent for that specifically, which, like there's like, I don't think that gameplay mechanics and stuff like that should be like, it like stuff like that. It's so like vague, and it narrows stuff down so people can't do very specific things that they want to do in their games. But this is just such a very specific narrow use thing that it's probably never actually going to come up. It's just like I don't know. Some people are saying that it's probably to try to come at Pocketpair and Pow World, but I don't even think that's really something that you can do in Pow World. So, like in Pow World, you have your guys with you and they like help you with battling, but you don't do like they don't like walk around next to you and you point and then they go and attack. Like they don't do that. So it seems like it's way, way, way more narrow. Um, the very specific thing that they do in Scarlet and Violet. So it's shitty, but people are out there being like, like Konami's going to get sued because you summon monsters with cards, or like, yeah, like Atlas is gonna get sued because of SMT. It's like, no, that's not how it works, but it's still not good. But that's just people should represent what something is instead of just reporting on the what's something that's not even actually there.
Yeah, the people who are saying that this is going to kill Persona, that is a misrepresentation. That's not really how the law works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I don't really agree with Samantha Ferreira's claim that this only applies to the throwing of the ball, because this is sourced to gamesfray.com, which also has a full PDF of the patents.
Mm-hmm.
That is one figure of many figures that all seem to be illustrating different ways to implement this system. I'll give you the description of the figure 18, which mentions the ball, which maybe gives you an idea of the incomprehensible legalese this is written in. Figure 18 is a flowchart showing an example of a field processing executed by the non-limiting game system. Figure 19, which does not include a Pokeball type thing, is a flowchart showing an example of the field processing executed by the non-limiting game system. And there's a bunch like that, all slightly different from each other.
Yeah, like that flowchart does specifically say though that like you have to have a throwing motion and you have to throw a ball toward the enemy, and like it's as like specific as you could possibly get. And again, I think it's stupid that they're like, "Oh, we need to go make a patent for this." Like, why does this have to be something that anyone gives a shit about? You know, like I guess like my actual question is just like copyright and patents and all these concepts are just so stupid in their like initial creation, where it's just like, why did someone have to sit down and be like, well, in order to protect our copyright, our patent, we have to draw up a flowchart to say if your game has you throw a ball at the enemy and it does this specific thing and it does this animation and it does this, we can sue the shit out of you. Like, why does that any of that matter? Like, why does any of that matter? It's just a waste of time.
Others, chime in, please.
Yeah.
The answer is it doesn't. Next question.
Okay.
Ew, what if I want to defeat Pal World?
I want to defeat Pal World 2. I do. Just like how I am slightly in. Okay. I hate Pal World, and I would like to see them eat shit. I don't want Nintendo and the Pokemon Company to have a ton of power to bully smaller companies and the like. So I have mixed feelings about that. Just like I have, I have less mixed feelings about stuff like Midjourney getting sued by Warner Brothers and stuff. Like, you know, that's definitely more of a like let them fight kind of thing where I just want Midjourney to get destroyed. But it's like in the same family, I guess, you know, where it's just like I just all of this is just...
Any legal tool that facilitates a company being able to essentially alpha strike ideas that they don't like being in other people's hands out of existence is almost always and in perpetuity going to be used in fashions that are fundamentally anti-art and anti-consumer. I have a hard time advocating for the positive application of anything that allows a person to say, this very idea, not its utilization, but just the concept of this idea of game design being patented as being. I think it's a fundamentally unhelpful thing, and it will only contribute to, again, the aggressive litigation that Nintendo seems to be defining themselves with in this decade in their attempt to Disneyfy themselves.
Nikolas, what do you think?
What do I think? What do I think about this? I am very like, as a guy who spends a lot of time making games and putting them together, I find myself very just immediately, even if it was the most specific thing ever, if it was to the degree of like, the patent is okay, you can only make this specific set of character designs that we invented that fall in line with this specific thing. But you can't let these specific things do these specific actions that align with the moves that we made. Like, if they made the most hypothetically specific thing ever, that literally only existed to be you can't make a Pikachu do a Thunderbolt after getting thrown out of a Pokeball, and it was all literal, I would still be against that because, like, even that specific of an idea should not be something that is limited in its use. Like, I don't think there's like any level of acceptance towards what should be copyrighted when it comes to ideas or mechanics, because it's like if we had this with movies, it would be like, okay, you can't shoot scenes where characters are blocked out in these positions because, like, no, that's bullshit. That even if it's very specific, that's still a fundamental part of how you have to think about art in any way. And even if it's so hyper specific that it would never come up 99% of the time, that 1% of the time, someone is going to be like, oh, God damn it, this shit sucks. And even if it doesn't like exist to directly limit that and more so exists to discourage it, or even just like fearmonger against people, because I feel like that is to a degree what the idea behind some of these are, is just, yeah, you guys better not be getting any ideas, especially with how people like are presenting it in the news. Though obviously there is a disconnect between a lot of news places and Nintendo themselves. I still think, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're a company the size of Nintendo, you're going to know how people report on news. And I feel like if you want to be direct about the idea that like people shouldn't be scared of something and you are trying to be super specific, you're not going to go into like that level of legalese. Like it feels actively malicious over anything. Just, and I think that form of maliciousness is very anti-art and expression, and that is the thing I value games for. I would much rather a game be able to express itself fully and feel like a ripoff, or even just outright be a ripoff, than not be allowed to do that. Because I think not being allowed to do something in art for any reason is lame and uninteresting, just on the surface of it. I do not like this. I do not like this as a topic of discussion. It makes me feel sad.
I mean,
But
just
it's a
putting it
discussion
another
we
way.
must have.
Putting it another way, though, the legal case that Nintendo decides to put out doesn't need to even be valid. They can obliterate you with legal fees before anyone even rules in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I played on my Nintendo Switch 2 this week.
They make Mario Galaxy. It's all right. I love Nintendo. Hey.
And I have a lot of Nintendo Switch games I like to play.
I think we are allowed to have the nuance to say that you can enjoy a piece of art while saying that the people who make it are cartoon villains. I think
Yeah.
we can enable ourselves to say that much, but I also think that there's a kind of problem that comes with, as I've been regurgitating over and over again on this episode, that it just kind of reaches a certain point where it's on you to say whether or not you wish to take part. And I think it's more important to at least admit to yourself that you want to buy the commercial product over caring about any of those issues.
I mean, I care about some of these issues. It's just like, I pick and choose what I interact with.
Sure, maybe, but Nintendo is a monolith. Like, sure, you can hypothetically only buy the products from the evil corporation that you think are worthwhile, but it's still ultimately going to go in their pocket. And but no means am I like advocating for an objectiveless like boycott or something like that, but it is one of those things where it's just I live a perfectly happy and fulfilled life not filling my day with Nintendo games or Nintendo products or Nintendo films or Nintendo Directs. And I just think it's really difficult to have these kinds of conversations about these large monolithic corporations where we are essentially doing their own advertisements for them, even if we kind of paint them in the top of all of our personal disinvestment and everything that they do, we are still, at the end of the day, talking about Nintendo into such a degree where I think, isn't that just kind of the problem? They're a monolith that is difficult to talk around.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess then, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not asking this as, I'm not saying this is like a gotcha, like a genuine thing where it's just like at what point then are we, should we just not do this? Because what video game news, what video game coverage would we, because what would be, we're interacting with this industry, you know?
No, and I think again that is the problem of it all. Like, the issues with these things are so big, they are so expansive beyond this room, beyond this industry, that it is difficult to come up with a solution for something like that. And I don't know, there's only so many ways I can articulate my disappointment with a company who ultimately doesn't know, regard, or care that I exist. At the end of the day, giving a corporation more legal clout to just delete ideas that they don't like is a problem. And I guess that's just kind of the end of my sentiment on it. I don't have to pretend to like the corporation just because they make product that I find enjoyable.
Sure. I mean, sorry for like kind of going through things on the podcast. I mean, I guess just like, it's one of those things where it's just like I will say as shorthand, like, yeah, I'm a Nintendo fan. I like a lot of the stuff that they put out. And I don't know how to kind of like couple that with the idea where it's like I'm not for a lot of the stuff that they do, like legally, how they treat people, with that stuff, because like that's their legal team, not the like group of people that are making games, but then they're still working for that company. And I mean, even like no matter how like deep down you get to, it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, you should just be playing PC games. And it's like, well, yeah, but like fucking, it's not like Gabe Newell. Like Gabe Newell's out there buying a bunch of fucking yachts and driving around and stirring up a bunch of pollution and shit. And then PCs are. I'm not trying. Again, this isn't me trying to gotcha anybody. It's just one of those things where I'm just kind of like, I don't know how to kind of grapple with everything, because it just feel, because it does feel like, and again, I'm not trying to like say like you're like, I don't think that you think that I'm like a bad person or anything, but it's just one of those things where I'm just kind of like is like, am I being a hypocrite? Like, what is, I mean, I guess I am, but I guess that's just how being alive is. But it just like, it feels like a judgment thing where I'm just like, because I enjoy Nintendo games more than some other people, that it just makes me feel like I'm bad at caring.
I think that there is a very long chain of whataboutism that you could fall into, where one could point at the various systemic corporation issues that kind of contribute to that kind of issue. And I think that everyone has their own kind of personal journey that they need to go on with things like the hypocrisy of buying from a corporation that ultimately just wants to care about its financial dividends. There are certainly things that we all purchase that contribute to something net negative, and we are willing to make that potential sacrifice because our individual comforts in that particular moment outweigh the long-term, goal of things improving. But I don't think it's really my job or a thing that I would want to pursue to call anyone out in particular at being a hypocrite. I think more what I'm trying to highlight is that it is, in all things, more helpful to be mindful rather than, I don't know, putting your fingers in your ears and pretending it's not an issue because you like it. But that's not an indictment of any particular person. I just think that the problem is complicated and the world is complicated, and I think it's beyond the scope of any one person to be capable of solving. And
Yeah.
maybe this is a little too serious for the conversation that started with us ragging on Nintendo for Mario being old, but it's fatiguing. It's hard to bring my enthusiasm to a discussion that happens where I think about the very real like ramifications of allowing a company to have this much influence over an industry I have pledged my heart to. And I think it's hard for anyone to answer confidently that we should just do X, Y, or Z because yeah, I'm predominantly play my games on PC. I don't own any particular fealty to any of these corporations, but hey, I still have to owe debts to Microsoft. I still owe debts to Steam. I still owe, my internet provider. I still have all of these things that I am fundamentally complicit in without realizing it. But I also think that the more you learn, the better you are equipped to kind of engage with those problems in an empathetic and ultimately productive way rather than just saying Nintendo bad and slamming your desk and then writing another 8 to 11 tweets on Twitter about it.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like that I feel like, I think that I think this is maybe just tying into you talking earlier about giving a shit about what other people think that you don't really know because it's just like, like for me personally, I'm just like because I'm not constantly talking shit that it makes it seem like I don't care, I guess. But that might just be like a performative part of how social media is, because a lot of people are just like, "Oh, I can talk all kinds of shit about this stuff that I don't like." You know? Because that's easy for you because you don't like it.
Sure.
I guess that's how it would be, I suppose. I don't know. I'm sorry if that was too off topic and weird and all. I apologize. This is just a train of thought that I, kind of struggle with at times because I'm just like, I don't want to be shitty. I want to do what's right for people, but also like at a certain point it kind of feels like the only way that you could really do right for anybody is to just be a fucking husk and not interact with literally anything, you know?
I think we live in a world where like obviously the like be all end all of having to owe our lives and so much of what we do and obtain to corporations is that, well, as Lil says earlier, we have to figure out to what degree we are willing to separate like what we need or want from the moral end result of that. But I think the most useless way to look at it is trying to look at the end result and go, well, everything is unethical, because that doesn't force you to reckon with both what you find value in, and it doesn't actually provide anything actionable. Like aimless boycotting of companies individually to your own detriment doesn't do anything, because they are still massive enough to where they will not be hurt by you, and you're only hurting yourself in the end. And I think a big part of actually getting any value from what you believe in and find worthwhile is to do stuff like this, is to discuss it and make clear your specific disdain for it, and try educating people, or at least making your own viewpoint clear so that they may end up seeing, huh, I understand why they think that. Like, I can accept that whenever I buy a Nintendo game, that somewhere down the line, some amount of that money might go into things I don't approve of because I do not have the reach to actually do anything super helpful in changing that. It is such a small amount that I do not feel like they would be hindered at all by me making my own, just like making a decision that negatively impacts myself, and I do it so infrequently that I do not feel like the small amount that I would do in a purchase is offset by how often I'm doing them. Whereas, like, I don't want to say its name, but the HP books or franchise, I guess, is the most specific I will go into it. We know that money directly from that sort of thing goes into organizations that do things that I do not imagine anyone in this room approves of. We have evidence of that. And so with something like that, like, I think the best thing you can do is be very direct about it and communicate it while also not engaging with it. Like, that is also an end of the line thing, right? That is also within the specific view of like Nintendo going for this sort of like legalese. We want to patent stuff. They're like, I don't like, they're far enough from me to where I imagine my own decision on a purchase or engagement with something will lead to about the same level of difference on each side, because that's both okay. I give the money to the corporation and then the corporation does something with it, or in one of those cases the person that the corporation then gives the money to, but it's a multi-step process that I'm super far in on, and like I'm fine with doing it for Nintendo because, like, I guess it's just because it's something that the effects of, I don't know like a good way to phrase this because it is such a specific moral conversation, but like with HP, I don't want to give it the time of day because like that's something specific groups may like latch onto spitefully in a way that they can then action upon. Whereas I feel like that inverse applying to Nintendo doesn't really work. Like, I don't think someone who wants to cause harm in the same way that Nintendo does is going to be able to be more actionable by having like the knowledge that they can be by supporting that company. Whereas with the other case, I certainly think that knowing, oh, there is this way that I can support these negative actions or not fight against, like, do you get what I mean? Like with Nintendo, I am fine with supporting them and being vocal on what I don't like about them because I feel like I can do more good than bad
Well,
in the long run
I mean,
by balancing it out.
I think part of it is also just that like it's the ways that Nintendo stifles creativity and has harmed people monetarily and all that has been it's been sort of symptoms of how capitalism and society functions, in how copyright laws work for different countries and all that. And like the fact that they are using those things to go after people is a problem, but it's still like, I would say that there is I don't know if I want to say there's like less
Inherent to the
malice or
system.
whatever. But yeah, that's more inherent to the system than someone who's just like, I made money writing a book and now I'm going to use that money to be hateful. Like if
Yeah,
if Nintendo directly was like, "Hey, hey everybody, thanks for buying a bunch of Switch 2s. We're going to go tell people to that we explicitly stand up against gay marriage in Japan." Like, I think that would be a very different thing. Which, from what
yeah. In that case, I think it'd immediately be like, okay, so we just all stop buying stuff from them and don't talk about them on here
yeah,
because I feel
there's
like giving them
like
any level of
Microsoft
audience.
with like Microsoft right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to with Nintendo, it is a case of this is a sin of capitalism that is going to happen when you are engaging with capitalism. And unfortunately, that is what we have to do. And we could be bigger picturing, trying to like pick and choose what we adhere to morally, but that impetus and duty of care is going to harm us more in the long run when they are corporations and they have greater control over our lives. Whereas with something that is more directly hateful or malicious, when there is an opportunity to just stay silent on it, not let it ever get attention, and just not engage with it and discourage people like as often as possible, I think that is the ideal moral case. And I apologize for bringing that series up
I mean, that
because
makes
I
sense.
get
That
that
makes sense.
bringing it up for the point of comparison kind of goes against the idea of you shouldn't bring it up at all, which is something that I do agree to since like everybody knows why it's bad. It is extremely well known. I don't think a single person who is going to watch this is not going to know about it and why it's bad,
Sure.
but I do think it is. I should note that it is slightly hypocritical of me to say don't bring this up and then bring it up specifically for the sake of the hypothetical where that is the
I get it.
primary point.
I get it. Okay. Yeah,
I
that
don't think we should get into these long like fits of self-doubt about ourselves of what companies we support because like in the end they are all going to be malicious. We should not have to agonize with ourselves over something and like try justifying specifically what companies we do and don't want to support that are companies on this scale, because at the end of the day these companies do not support any of us as individual people. All that money will in the long run probably make our lives worse somehow for their sake. So we can look at the immediate morals of the company and say these are what I agree or don't agree with, and just like leave it at what we can say or want to represent, because I feel like trying to talk with our money and support is something that we can't like that's not going to be as that's never going to be as effective as just like making our opinions and knowledge clear. I think that's the value in doing something like Gamesline. I think that being able to be a resource for people to see opinions and ideas and share those opinions and ideas is the value in this sort of place in and of itself, because like we can talk about these things, we can talk about the Nintendo Direct, and we can be very critical of it, and that is a perspective, and we can provide arguments on that. And I think there is something very, very valuable that in that more so than us all just silently going, "I don't want to talk about Nintendo or give them money. Have a nice day," because we are such a small drop in a bucket that being able to communicate our ideas to as many people as we can is going to do way more for us than just doing it on our own. Maybe like if we knew for an objective fact, all right, like Nintendo put out some hypothetical say this would never happen, but if they said if 1 million people do not buy like this virtual boy thing, we're not going to go forward with our legal cases or whatever the hell. The best thing to do in that situation is don't do it and then make like try getting more and more people to do it, right?
Mhm.
Because in that case you have an action that you can take against this big group, but like there was no action here. Like we don't like what Nintendo does. What are we gonna do to change that? Like there would have to be like I don't know some protest or actual like letter sending or whatever, and that's obviously something that people who feel way more strongly on it than us can do, or we could even do it if we feel that strongly on it. But that's not the sort of thing that we're going to do by just having these like discussions on our own ethics here. That's something we would want to sit down and commit to more than just this right now. I don't think it's worth it. The very, very short, less rambly version of what I'm trying to say is we shouldn't worry this intensely about the big picture, because there are ways that we can make what we do matter more by looking at the small picture. Because it's like thinking about how the universe is going to end in billions of years, but on a much like smaller and worldly scale. It's like, yeah, none of these people have my best interest in mind. but I still have to deal with them. So, up to what extent can I be actionable and do things? And that is to the extent I should think about. I shouldn't think about this sort of stuff existentially, because then I'm just going to be miserable and either inconvenience myself or just be more miserable. I don't think there's any value in just endlessly thinking about the next step up.
Um, yeah, I mean, I feel ya. I mean, I'm when I get a little too in my head, that is definitely where I go, where it's just like, like you end up spiraling, where it's just like, at what point does any of this matter kind of deals, where it's just like, but that's what you're saying, is that like there's not really like a big value to that, because once you start getting bigger and bigger and more and more and more existential, it's just like not something that a single person can really tackle, I guess.
Eventually, the mental gymnastics you will have to jump through to justify things that far out they'll just be so nonsensical that it doesn't matter. You're doing less. That, like, if you ever feel like you're going to spiral into just this long-winded thought of, is what I do worth it? What ethics do I have? Just like talk with someone about it. Just sit down and go, hey, so what would you do in this situation? And then you're going to get something valuable out of it. You're going to get to hear thoughts. You're going to get to share thoughts, and you're not going to spiral anymore as much because you have another person to be grounded with you. Like,
Sure.
I think that is ultimately the most important thing. Just it sounds so cheesy, but just talking with people on your level is one of the best ways to avoid yourself from spiraling or feeling worse about yourself. I think a lot of problems with people's mental health in a lot of different ways just comes from not having a connection in specific moments when you need one, and that just getting worse and worse. And I think that just being the problem solve with another person's help can put a lot of bigger scale issues in the bud. Not all of them. There's definitely problems that are way too big for just making friends and having conversations and
Playing
coming
with
up with
toys.
your, yeah, there are, but those are issues that I feel are much beyond the scope of this kind of topic
Hmm.
anyways.
Sure.
And those are like actual political issues, not Nintendo is making a patent issues. it it is it is a draining thing to talk about, and apologies to Crystal and Lilith. I imagine it is very draining to listen to as well. But I don't know. It's
I,
something that you just kind of
I
gotta put a lid on and stop talking about at a point. And I apologize that I've not been doing it.
We can move on.
yeah, we can. Um,
So the Drakengard soundtrack shadow dropped on Steam.
yeah.
Your CD is skipping. Drakengard.
Yeah, I was almost like, I don't even know how to continue on. What, and I misspelled Drakengard on here. That I spelled it like Drak, with an extra C.
Yeah, I'm really good at contributing to the personal darkness of the conversation, and then I will pickaxe my way out by all means necessary.
Look, I apologize. I'm. We could talk about Drakengard. Yes,
Drakengard.
they uploaded the Drakengard soundtrack to Steam randomly. Um, and Dusk Golem, who is a prominent leaker of sorts, who mostly gets things right in regards to Resident Evil, um, has said that he has also heard that there's going to be some other Drakengard announcement later this month at either a Sony State of Play or at Tokyo Game Show. No confirmation on what that is, but they did just re-release the soundtrack to Drakengard 1, so maybe a port of Drakengard of some sort, maybe a remake, maybe they're doing a collection, maybe they're making a fourth one, who knows, but at the very least you can go buy the soundtrack on Steam right now.
If If they do Drakengard news this close to my birthday, I will consider it an act of cosmic providence. Someone personally in the entire universe has elected to give me a birthday gift.
It's Square Enix. They've decided.
No. It clearly goes higher than that if we
Oh, of course.
consider the lore ramifications of Drakengard. Please consider my multi-pronged timeline that I've cracked out here for you to explain why this impacts specifically our very real universe right now.
It's been a few years since Yoko Taro finished up Voice of Cards, so I guess that could be time spent on the new Drakengard.
Which I can't even imagine he was that involved with that, you know? So. They are releasing the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection, which was not in the Nintendo Direct, but it was announced like right at the same time, which was kind of weird. Yeah, Hunter Stalker in the chat is saying the last thing that Yoko Taro was really involved with was that Nier Gacha game. That's also true, yeah. Yes, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection out next year. All of those games. I never played any of those. Did anyone here play any of the Star Force games?
Honestly, I don't know what differentiates a Star Force Mega Man versus because like it's like what tangentially connected to Battle Network? No?
Yes. I think it's basically like, you know how in Battle Network you see it from like the side and above? In Star
Mhm.
Force, the camera's like right behind Mega Man. And I think it's a different Mega Man and a different guy is playing, like it's not Lan. Yeah, it's just future Battle Network in space. Yeah, that is what Hunter Stalker is saying. Yes, it is future Battle Network in space. So, yeah, and it's like a behind the back. Which, hey, you know what? This is they've only got one last Legacy collection to do, and it's the one that I want. So, time's the wasted in Capcom. Let's do Mega Man Legends Legacy Collection, please.
It's really funny looking in that thread where like one of the first comments is just someone going, "They will do literally anything to avoid announcing Mega Man Legends."
And again, to talk about, issues with, emulation and all that. Like the reason why I want them to do a Legends Legacy collection is because I own those games. I've had those games for ages, and it's kind of miserable to play them in the way that they are now because Legends 1 doesn't support analog controls. So if they patch in or do something to make Legends 1 work with analog controls, that's what is needed. That game it's like people were like, "Oh, they had Bubsy 3D has analog controls now." Legends needs analog control. They need to do what they did to Bubsy 3D with Mega Man Legends.
The hilarious thing with Mega Man Legends is that some of those control schemes built into that game are actually insane. Like they want you rotating the character with the shoulder buttons for some of them. They have like a control scheme that uses like the face buttons, like you're playing like a weird proto FPS. And
Yeah.
it's like they they really desperately want you to like circle strafe in that game because they have like the second one has like the lock on and you can play it like a normal video game.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, especially when you get like the speed or like what are they?
The
The roller
skates,
skates?
yeah, the skates.
That that game controls like literal garbage, which is sad because that game is amazing in a lot of
Everything
other
else,
ways.
yeah, it's so good. Just the controls, like, so I would like for them to just touch up the controls for sure.
I don't know. I genuinely am someone who really, really likes Mega Man Legends 2 a lot, especially when it goes into like the absurd back half.
Hmm.
Still, and I think we've talked about this before, so we can keep it brief. I think multiple members of Gamesline would form a prayer circle for Mega Man Legends 2 given the option, but the desire's there. Come on.
For 3, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just a legacy pack. I don't know.
Because also, like, again, I would like for them to release a package bundle so that way more people can be aware of Misadventures of Tron Bonne, because that is also an excellent game.
I honestly have not played that one. Because what was that one N64 exclusive?
No, that was PS1.
Really?
Yeah. It was in between 1 and 2 because like I think it came with a demo for 2. But it's definitely way more rare. Like I guess, they probably didn't advertise it or something, cuz that was one of those games where like, even before the COVID video game price spike, it was still like a $300 game. Like it was extremely expensive before everything got expensive.
I don't know. I feel like it's strange because like I think I've been pretty vocal that I'm not a huge dungeon crawler fan, but that's essentially what Mega Man Legends is to
Yeah.
an extent. Which is really weird to think about like a Mega Man dungeon crawler.
It works. I mean, it's basically Zelda, you know?
Kind of, but it has way more emphasis on like combat over puzzles.
And it actually has
Like
characters.
well, yeah, and also like if we can talk about like the minutia of game design, okay, like indie devs genuinely steal that their way of adding facial emotes because I have played some indie games that have like the scariest uncanny valley lip flaps.
Mhm.
Just be inspired by Mega Man, like watch one cutscene in Mega Man Legends 2 and be inspired by that because it is so much easier to do something like that over trying to do low poly lip flaps.
Mhm.
Like even Metal Gear Solid 1 looks really bad where you have people like just doing like the head oscillating to simulate talking. Mega
Yeah.
Man Legends 2 still looks great.
Mhm. And let's see here. One more bit of news, and then we can move on. Finally, 2 hours into this podcast. Um, they're doing a remake of Panzer Dragoon II. Uh, People think it looks really bad. The remake, which it does. I do agree, but I do think it's really funny that everyone who's saying that it looks bad is quote reposting the announcement and all that with the most blurry, pixely, like really hard to parse images of the original Panzer Dragoon 2. And again, like I get it because it's a Saturn game, it's running on a lower resolution, it'll look better if you're actually playing it on the console. It's just I just think it's funny that like on social media it's like this is what it's supposed to look like and it just looks like dog shit too, and it's like again, I get it. It's just funny. That's all I'm saying. It's funny.
I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, but I feel like the Panzer Dragoon like visual language has never been that appealing for my personal taste. I think the only real impression that it ever left on me is that if I go real far back in memory, the only impression the Panzer Dragoon franchise ever left on me was that there was an arcade that we used to go to in like South Carolina where they inexplicably had a Panzer Dragoon Orta Xbox that you could win for like thousands of tickets.
Okay.
And my main impression was that girl's sitting on a dragon. And that basically is the only thing that has ever stuck with me about that franchise.
Sure. I mean, I just know that like Saga is talked up as one of the best RPGs ever, but that it's, hard to emulate, and the actual copies of the game are expensive, so they remake that would be great.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the appeal of liking something insanely niche is that you can very easily say that something is the best thing ever, and who's going to
Yeah,
countermand you
nobody can
on it?
argue. They haven't played it. You could just say so. Yeah, oh, this Sega Saturn RPG is really good. You have to trust me because I played it and you didn't.
Like, what is the average schmuck gonna go look up a Sega Saturn emulator?
Which again barely works apparently. Like you can't even like run it right. So even if they wanted to prove you wrong, they couldn't. There you
An
go.
emulation has come away, but it is definitely the hardest to emulate of that era. I will say the ground textures in this remake a bit rough. The spaceship in the air looks much better.
Sure. Yeah. Again, I'll take it or leave it. I would just like for them to make Saga available in some way. Port, remake, that doesn't look like shit. Whatever. Alright, we can talk about what we've been gaming on. If you would like. Nikolas, you've pretty specifically said last week that you wanted to talk fighting games with Lily. Would you like to do that?
Oh dear.
Oh, would Lily like to do that at all?
So
Is what I
here's
may
the
ask.
thing. I said the same thing last week. Okay. I want to be abundantly clear here. I am a neophyte. So, if you
Don't
come
worry, I am too.
Okay, so cuz again, if you were like, "Oh, isn't it fucked up that, that Rams 624p is kind of
No,
like
I'm not gonna hit you with
disjointed?"
any of that. Don't
Okay,
no no
okay.
no. Don't worry. Do not
Okay.
worry.
So
See, what games specifically was it? Was it Under Night and Strive
so it
that you were
was
playing?
yes, I recently picked up Strive. I've still been playing. I think at this point I have 11 hours in Strive, and I have played uh, about 10 hours in Undernight Inbirth, exe colon late cl hyphen r, that one.
Okay. I want to ask as sort of an opener because I don't know. I've played Strive. How different would you say is the mechanical intensity between Strive and Under Night and because I've felt like and I've heard that Strive is very simplified compared to a lot of fighting games and is like sort of the one that set off the chain of a lot of them becoming more simplified in recent years like 2XKO, but I don't actually know Under Night itself. I haven't tried it, so I want to know how you, as someone who's played specifically both of those, would say it feels in terms of difference of like mechanical challenge or complexity.
So the thing that immediately comes to mind is like I think that Undernight has a lot more passive states going for it. Like Strive doesn't really have anything immediately analogous, at least from my perspective, of something like going Vorpal or like the collision gauge that you can trigger to, fill your I don't even remember what it's called in Undernight. The tension gauge, the super meter. Um
The bar.
in general, so the funny thing is, I will say that Strive is simplified asterisk for a 2D fighter. A lot of the mechanics that have been like kind of crystallized since Double X in Guilty Gear, like the burst gauge, the tension meter, a lot of that is quote unquote simple in the context that it is the purest, simplest expression of those specific mechanics that have been derivated in other games. I would say that Strive, for me, a person who does not play a ton of I dabble. I play a lot of fighting games in the context of playing by myself, completely non-competitively. But I would say from the pure feel, Strive feels a bit more approachable than Undernight. Like so like the one of the main things, like the main differences that happen that with me is that like with macroing, you can turn the dashes into a single button in Guilty Gear, which really increases the mobility factor, whereas Undernight had the what is it called? The assault button, where if you're holding forward and you push your lower input, it would make you dash forward in the air. Um, that is like a factor where Under Night to me feels a little bit stiffer than Strive, so it might be a little bit more approachable like that. But I think overall, I have been enjoying Strive ever so slightly more than Under Night, but I think they're both good.
I ask about the mechanical complexity question because the game that I wanted to talk about specifically, one of my friends got me into this one called BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. It's a pretty niche title. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. It has this other niche series in it, like Persona. I don't think anyone has ever heard about that here. But so but BB it is very interesting to me because it feels like the absolute simplest you could make this sort of game while still keeping everything that an anime fighter is on paper. But it is also a crossover of three existing fighting games and then also supplanting a couple original characters in there, like the Ruby ones. And
Mhm.
it is like it creates this really interesting sort of game. I haven't ever really experienced it before, though admittedly I've only ever played like I think 5 or so legitimate fighting games for any serious amount of time, where it feels like the game knows that it's being played by people who just think it's fun to play a crossover of fighting games. So it's like just kind of throwing its hands up with a lot of its different decisions and going, all right, you just have fun with it. And in the genre so focused around the ideas of learning and practicing and adapting, it's like the common comparison, or like people will describe a lot of fighting games as stuff as like two people having a knife fight in an alleyway, or two people on basalts trying to bite each other's face off, or like various different phrases that are comically supposed to imply the severity and intensity of which it will fight, like a fight will happen. Whereas with BB Tag, it feels like it is designed to encourage the feeling of walking into a bathroom to try using it. Someone shows up with a baseball bat and breaks one of your knees in, and then like pulls out a cartoon Amy Rose Pico Pico Homer and then bashes the other one in the stupidest goddamn way imaginable, and then just leaves without doing anything else. It is a game designed to set up the dumbest highway robberies in existence. And I think it's a really, really funny fighting game. I want to play it with you sometime if you have it. If you don't, I would not imagine you do. I don't know how much it costs. I don't know if it'd be worth buying for like just a couple mess around sessions. But it's like obviously it wasn't, but it's just phenomenal to play a game that feels like it was designed not to be balanced or logical in any way, and just be like a fighting game that feels like what someone who doesn't know what these games sees when they watch people play them. It is very simple like a lot of characters are really busted or really bad because they don't have their mechanics from their original games transferred over. Like the most busted character in that game is Adachi because the thing he was built around just didn't get transferred over. And
Okay.
it is very interesting to me. It is just like the purest form of guys who just wanted to make a fun crossover fighting game and didn't really think about the logistics of it. Like I, this is something that I feel like I get into a problem with, where I have trouble describing games that I find endearing or fun or awesome. Like I had this with Sonic Forces, where it's like I wanted to talk about that game, but I didn't really have a whole lot more to say than this game is really fucked up for very specific reasons. But I really, really like those kinds of games. Like the catch-all term for fighting games is obviously Kusoge, but it feels like something beyond that. Like built to be a game that people would call that is how it feels sometimes. Built to be played ironically, if you can play a video game ironically.
So I need
It
to
is a
share
hell of an experience.
I need to share something that just happened to me, actually.
Hmm.
So you were talking about this, and I was listening, and I was like, how much is Blaze Blue cross tag battle? I was like, I don't have it, clearly. I should look. And I went on like a VTuber ass face journey just now because I pulled it up on Steam, and apparently not only do I own this game, I own the special edition somehow. How'd that happen? Did it grow in
What?
my Steam library like black mold? What the hell?
Well, I mean, it will probably have the same effect on your brain as black mold would. Like this game is not meant for people with brains. This game is meant for people who think fighting games are fun to play with friends and they want to get good at that. It
Well,
is it is like a party game version of a fighting game while still feeling like a legitimate fighting game, but absolutely not being one. I love it.
so it sounds like it has the potential to be like that kind of drunken fun.
Yes, yes, it
I
is absolutely that. One of my friends, the guy I play it with, describes it as cyberbullying, the video game.
well,
It
apparently
is.
I apparently if you own a Steam account for long enough, games just start manifesting in there. So that's what I'm learning today.
Sounds right to
That's
me.
true. The one that grew in my like in the corner of mine was Portal and Portal 2. I don't know. I don't remember buying those, but I just have them. And Terraria and Rivals. Wait, what? How many of these fucking games do I have? What? Wait, I'm just the black hole in the corners of my library right now. What else is in here? What the hell?
Well, anyway,
I have not bought Cast Crashers. What the? Where did this come from?
there's beautiful things happening in the podcast today,
I agree.
but I
Oh
would
my god.
I would very happily try cross tag battle at some point. Like
Oh hell yes.
I've played Blaze Blue. What other Blaze Blues do I have? Because I think I have both Calamity Trigger and Continuum Shift.
Central
So
Fiction.
I don't have that one, funnily enough. And apparently on July 26th, Steam was like, "Hey, you want a booster pack of Blaze Blue Continuum Shift Extend?" So that happened.
Congratulations.
But it's very strange that that franchise in general seems to carry a lot of the things that you're talking about with cross tag battle, because it has like the like your not your supers, but like your specials are bound to like a single button in Blaze Blue.
Yeah, like a drive there. Is what it's called if I remember correctly.
Very Smash Brosian, if you will.
Yeah, I feel bad whenever like me and my friends make the thing of, oh, Smash Bros isn't a real fighting game because it doesn't have a block button. Because I mean, because it does have a block button. Sorry, wrong way around. But it is like there is obviously a degree of separation between fighting games that are focused on actual legitimate like technical aspects, learning. They're designed to be played competitively and seriously and have lots of thought put into them. And Smash Bros, which is designed as I thought this would be funny. I put Steve Minecraft in the game because I wanted to put Steve Minecraft in the game.
The
And
ramifications.
it is like you can very much tell Smash was designed not as a super intense fighting game and people just turned it into one because of all the things that are valued when new games are made for it. Like they don't it seems very much like it sort of begrudgingly does more traditional fighting game stuff, like adding new modes or like what was the thing they added in the like meter you can technically build up your final smash as a special move by doing
Yeah,
damage and it's like
the
sort of a
bar.
meter.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it
Final
has a
Smash meter.
single option that like nobody ever uses. Like Smash Bros is absolutely not designed as a traditional fighting game, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm not gonna say it's lesser for that. So Cross Tag almost feels like this sort of mix where like it is living in the skin of a series that is trying to be a serious fighting game, multiple series, but because it is a crossover and has to combine all those mechanics together, it says fuck it, doesn't do that, and instead just makes every single character the most broken piece of shit possible.
Yeah.
And it's very fun. It is a very different feel than a lot of other especially other simplified fighting games. Like you were saying something like Strive has all the 2D fighting mechanics, but they're just this most simple version of those.
Mhm.
That's what BB Tag feels like, and it's still like it's this completely different feeling of simplicity. Strive felt like okay, it wants to simplify down a traditional fighting game, but still be one. Whereas with BB Tag, it feels like okay, this is simple because like we just want to make this a goofy, have fun, dick around a game, and we just like kind of need to have these. I like it a lot. I wouldn't really recommend it as some like if you're trying to actually learn or play serious fighting games, but it's like the perfect fighting game for me as a guy who likes how they feel but doesn't really like give a shit about learning super intently or like trying to get super better at it because I just play these with friends. I just play these with friends a lot, and it is the ideal game for a group of friends that all only want to play with other friends. It is like the platonic ideal of using a fighting game as a social activity.
Sure.
Finally, fighting game Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is, I think, honestly. If Smash Bros is like Mario Party as a fighting game, like it is just swapping the words around. They're right on the opposite sides of the border from each other. There's a scale of fighting game to party game. They're right next to each other. It's just cross tag is slightly closer to the fighting game category. It is completely non-serious, but it is actively designed to be non-serious, and I think that's really interesting in a genre that is so often trying to take itself super seriously and benefits for it. There's a reason fighting games have a foothold they do, but I think there is something very fun about a fighting game that, like, as a result of its existence and design, can't really do that because be like making a version of it that would have everything transferred over faithfully would make it overwhelming and unwieldy because there would be like three different games worth of mechanics and they would have to like staple those mechanics onto characters that don't have them. So like the easiest way to do it is to just make it goofy and like fun and casual. And I think that is a nice change of pace. But I also feel like I really, really should play a real fighting game, for lack of a better word, soon, so my brain does not turn to mush the next time someone convinces me to open up Guilty Gear.
I mean, Strive is good. I know that's hardly like like a pioneering opinion, but there's a reason why it is as heavily proliferated as it is as like the well, if you want to start with a fighting game, start with a good one.
I tried Strive and I just didn't get super interested in any of the characters. I think the only ones I really liked playing were Bedman and Bridget. And it's like if I want to play Bridget in a fighting game, I'll just go play Plus R. But Bedman was really sick. I like playing him though. I just
Well,
stopped playing because I was bothered by stuff like the online system being really, really bad, or just like not really having a whole lot of people I wanted to play with in Strive.
I know that they have changed up ranked like a lot since the initial release. Like, it's not just like the floor system; they do just have like a ranked now.
I played it relatively recently. I'm pretty sure I tried it out. Let me actually get the specific date because I record the first day I've played every game since like 2023. Okay, I tried it. Yeah, I tried it in like summer last year. So unless it was in the last year that they made those big changes, then I was I was not like I was playing it on release and dropped it. I am still relatively new to the world of fighting games.
I mean, I don't know. Seems like enough time to give it a shot.
Yeah,
Maybe I could go back to Strive again. Who
to give
knows?
you an idea of when I started getting into fighting games as like when I mean like the 2D anime fighters, uh I played Guilty Gear Accent Core, but I played the fucked up Nightmare version because that one was on
Oh,
Wii.
oh,
The
oh
good shit.
no.
The good shit.
I will in the earnest defense of my own sanity and my reputation on Gamesline, I will tell you I was not using the gesture controls.
Why not?
Wait, you could have used motion controls for it on the Wii?
Yes, it was a
Really?
nightmare and it was atrocious.
Why not?
Oh, they should sell that on the Switch. I would pay $40 for that. I would genuinely pay $40 for you get to play plus when it was with motion controls.
Hmm.
That would be awesome.
How it should be.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, I can't believe I'm learning about this just now.
And it was really funny because I could be remembering incorrectly, but I remembered that it had like like because it was like kind of like an incomplete version of Accent Core. Like it didn't have any of like the extra characters or anything from XX, but it was like the evil like horrific Ino final boss where she could just kill you in one hit if she feels like it. And then you're doing that with tilt controls, clutching a Wii remote like you're trying to strain spaghetti to make Soul do his specials.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I wonder how much that go for because I still have my Wii. Is this worth buying? Is it worth buying Guilty Gear XX on Wii? How much is this month?
Let's see. I'm
What? This is
looking
like
in.
$20?
Yeah, Accent Core on Wii at
Oh,
20
oh
bucks.
no. Oh, I'm
Let's do
considering.
it.
Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad.
It's good actually. That's
I love. Okay, so here's what it says on the Amazon page.
what...
I'm gonna read this aloud. Unique control schemes exclusive to the Wii.
I mean, that is a selling point.
It's unique, all
That is
right.
multiple modes of mayhem.
Say that.
Anyway,
Refined fighting game system.
would someone else like to talk about their gaming?
Uh,
And I
I
mean,
will,
Nicholas,
I will,
you're talking about fighting games and stuff. Do you want to talk about something else or?
I'm happy to open up the floor. I just want to affirm, Lilith, I really want to set up a time to play cross tag. I want to introduce that world of evil to you.
Okay.
I gotta get more people in on this.
Absolutely.
Because
Soon.
oh no, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still doing this fucking Ruby Rachel team dot shit. Oh god, he just pulled out Yumi.
Actually,
I hate this.
do you want to know what's even more nightmarish is that I opened it up and I have like all the color packs and stuff.
What?
I have all of
What
the
did you
DLC
do?
for this game. I don't know.
Do you have like a family like thing? Maybe someone else bought it?
Yeah, because that's how I have it.
I don't know. But yes, sometime soon I will cross tag battle.
Fuck yes. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Uh well, aside from fighting games, I can talk about another thing if we
Sure.
want to segue into me talking to myself some more.
I mean, do what you want.
Um so I finally finished Trails SC and I posted like a whole ass thread about it on Blue Sky.
I saw
But
that.
if I were to repeat some of my points, it is so strange playing SC the way I have because it is like black and white paint that refuse to mix. Because it's not like the bad parts make the good parts worse. It literally is just like yin and yang in that paint can. Because okay, so we can categorically understand that like one of the defining aspects of JRPGs is that they are long as fuck, maybe too long. Like we can all agree that that is kind of a factor in them.
Yes.
I It is so strange to play that game and simultaneously wanting it to end and not end at the same time. because I genuinely I know, like, it was funny because Rose was literally talking about it immediately afterward about how she hates one of the characters in that franchise, and I can see that start of darkness. And admittedly, it's not like putting me off the game franchise. It's just like, here's one guy who sucks. And like from what you've played of first in the demo, John, like a lot of the character detail and the heart and the world building is so good. If you really like the experience of just being allowed to percolate in a fictional space, wonderful. If you are playing it like a game that you want to finish in a semi-timely manner,
Oh,
that game will piss you off constantly. Constantly, it will upset you because it will just be this like. So okay, they changed a lot of this in the remake. And again, a lot of my criticisms don't stand for the remake, but the original versions of these games, a lot of the areas are large and kind of not filled with anything. And so it kind of like in me, in my modern era brain, and having multiple games that I want to play in 1 year, I was relying a lot on guides for precision of language. Like when a quest says there is a monster that you need to kill somewhere on this entire stretch of highway, I can't pretend that my patience wasn't tested a little bit, even though hypothetically I was having a good time. And a lot of those side quests are really, really neat. Like there is a side quest where a guy basically went for plot reasons into a coma, and when he comes back, he's like, "Hey, I remember like a really good chili from when I was a kid, when I was in that coma. Could you maybe find that recipe for me by talking to literally every old woman in town?" I love that shit. I ate that up immediately. But on the opposite side of things, when it's like a game that you actually have to play, I got to that back half. Okay, so that finale, like you get to finale and you assume like, okay, maybe there's like an hour or so more of this game. No. Trails SC says, here is like a new quasi continent for you to explore that feels really, really copy pasted. Like it feels like the least interesting version of Shivat from Xenogears. And also, you get to the final tower, like the big tower of ordeals at the end of this game, and it's 11 honest to god boss fights back to back. And so I would hesitate to call the combat in Trails like an SRPG. Like you have a grid, but it's not like you're doing intense movement or anything. Generally speaking, you can only move and attack. You can't do both. Or your attack is part of your movement, rather, and you will move the most linear way there. This game will constantly put you in situations where you are fighting enemies that have a lot of advantage in the action economy, and then all of the final bosses are that. You're going to fight this one really cool guy, but he can also turn into 3 versions of himself, and he also has 2 pet lions. You're going to fight this guy who has literally absorbed the power of God and also like 8 mouths. This little girl with a really sad, traumatic backstory, who I will admit, Ren is like is like an all-timer for me now. I love that character. Having her really sad backstory crowbarred in between a boss fight where her giant dad mom mech Gigazord punches me to death and she hits me with attacks that have the chance to instant kill me. They really wanted me to sour on this character. But overall, to wrap up my ramble, I think the strangest thing about that game is that I really, really like it and I really, really hate it, and the parts that I like and the parts that I hate don't mix at all.
Kind of interesting how how that works. Like, you know, you would think that there would be more overlap. How do you say what about it doesn't overlap like that you can separate it so much?
I mean, RPGs, JRPGs in particular, always kind of have this strange problem where very rarely does the gameplay touch the story in
Sure.
any like substantial way. Like when the screen shatters and you're in fight verse, uh effectively you are going to another dimension where pain is god, and then once you wrap that shit up, you just teleport back in the, into the story again. And so it kind of ends up in this intentional dissonance where if you really like the combat in a JRPG and you don't like the story, you have half the game you don't like, but they don't intersect meaningfully. And very much in the same way with Trails, I love the world, I hate navigating the world. I love the characters, I hate fighting with the characters. And you see the points where those two things would intersect, but like out of combat, Estelle is basically like in my brain a different person from combat Estelle. And that's very strange, but that's how my brain has encapsulated it.
I see. I mean, that makes sense. Bit of a shame, but
I mean,
does make
it's kind
sense.
of like that. It's an unfortunate thing, because those first three games, wonderful, wonderful stories. First, second, and third all have incredibly interesting stories. I don't see that I could make myself play through them again, gameplay wise.
So then here's my question then. Based on what you played of the demo of the remake, do you think that fixes enough of it?
So, my understanding of the demo is not complete, obviously. I didn't go on to play the full game. But here is where my opinion is at. The fight, like the combat of the remake is outstanding. I had a really, really fun time. I really liked kiting fights into really, really big groups and then exploding them all, and then the whole area is clear now. I really like the usage of positioning and how it actually lets you separate movement from action. I think, based on what I played of the demo, and obviously my information is not complete, and obviously they changed a bunch of stuff, and characters are voice acted now, and the graphics are woo wah wah wee. I like the remake more, and I understand how that is like. It's really comparing apples and oranges. Like at a certain point, they're not the same game. It is like comparing Super Mario World to Super Mario. Yeah, one is maybe more fun to play and they have similar DNA that traces backward, but they're almost like different pieces. And so it's hard for me to confidently say, if you're interested in Trails, only play the remake. Because I can't promise that like your understanding of the story will be complete, or that they haven't changed dialogue that is fundamentally altering people's understanding of characters or things like that. And I think the big thing we need to consider is that it's kind of like the same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Or maybe not exactly, because Final Fantasy VII Remake is basically Final Fantasy VII 2. But it's like that same kind of question where a person is like, should I play the original Final Fantasy VII or should I play the remake? And the honest answer would probably be both. Try both. Trails SC Trails FC, SC, and Third are regularly games that you can literally run on a ThinkPad with the graphics card half plugged in. and they regularly retail for like $10 to $12 on sale,
Yeah.
you are not doing yourself a disservice by trying them. And I don't want anything I say to be like, absolutely don't play these games. I just think from where I am personally at with JRPGs, I have played a lot of JRPGs. The combat just really rubs bad parts of my brain. And that's disappointing. It's like the same kind of thing where it's like by the last later half of something like Xenoblade 2, even though I really like love that game, I love its story and I love a lot of aspects about it, I have a hard time thinking about wanting to play Xenoblade 2 again because I think about sometimes, oh, I have to go find a blade who has a skill so I can climb a wall, so I can open a gate, so I can climb another wall, so I can dig in the ground, and so that I can go underwater. Anyway, that's my ramble. Thanks for listening. Thanks.
Thank you.
It really is so tragic when a great story is attached to a tedious game.
Yeah, I'm a Drakengard fan, I know. I'm not gonna pretend that like Drakengard as an example isn't a game that doesn't deserve its like monotony, because Drakengard is intentionally built out of Yoko Taro's existential terror at Muso games. But also, it's kind of a game that makes you want to pull your teeth out a little bit. Just a little bit, maybe like a centimeter, but
Thank you for sharing.
I want to ask, you were mentioning something about like how the disconnect between battles and not battles feels so extreme that they can feel like different characters. So, asking as a person making an RPG, what ways would you go about or would suggest someone else go about fixing that? Because that's something I find myself somewhat concerned with.
so I have a really, really good example of a game that does it really, really well, but is also very difficult to recommend. So I will just kind of skirt over what I think is important. So one of my favorite games of all time is Lisa the Painful and Lisa the Joyful. In those games, there is, and again, I'm about to use a 5-cent YouTuber word, but there is a ludonarrative harmony that happens because the decisions that you make in the story vis-a-vis your agency as allotted to you as the character Brad also intersects and has massive ramifications for fighting. So, mild spoilers for things that happen in Lisa the Painful, but partway through the game, a person asks you and puts you in a coercive situation where they say, I am going to kill every single one of your party members, or I am going to cut off your arm. Choose. This is not just like a, well, I'll get some different guys, or I'm gonna go chug a potion and then he'll be basically the same. Your choice in that moment is going to define the rest of your gameplay. Those characters do not come back. They are dead permanently. Your arm, once severed, sits on the ground, and your stats are permanently lowered, and you cannot do anything ever again that requires both hands. This is story and gameplay. It forms that kind of harmony where the game does not insist upon itself by being gamey. There's no random encounters in Lisa. Every single person you fight and kill in that game is like a named guy. Once you kill him, he's dead forever. And maybe that may not be like the tone that people are going for with JRPGs. Like some people maybe don't want to play every game and have it feel like Fear and Hunger. But also having your in-game choices, in-game plot inform and change things that happen in gameplay is a really major part, I think, in kind of creating that harmony. Because in a lot of ways, the things that we do in games not mattering really kind of leads to that feeling where you don't need to care because the plot's going to progress with or without me.
That's a very good example. I like that.
May I say something that it may sound runs the risk of sounding a tad ruder than I mean it to?
Sure.
I have played Lisa the Painful. I really like it. I like it a lot. I think it's that like section of indie RPGs that get clumped together of like Lisa, Undertale, Amori, those sorts of games. I think it's one of my favorites in that group.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I probably will not ever play it, like actually go through it again for the reasons that you described of it is very
Well, it's the
it is
painful
like
RPG.
yeah, it is actively designed to be a slog and annoying, and I really like that a lot. It is like, but I feel like it's an RPG because an RPG is a genre that is very easy to piss you off with. Like, I don't think it would have worked well as like a platformer or a fighting game or like whatever other genre can pop into my head because an RPG is a very good genre for having a lot of things that will go wrong in the story punch you in the face when you're actually trying to engage with the gameplay. So hearing your big ideal recommendation be that sort of Lisa's like when a character loses an arm, they lose it in the game, or when party members die, they actually die. It feels kind of like, yeah, that's what most games should do. Does Trails not do that sort of way? It because
So,
like I don't know, maybe it's because we've both played it that it feels so much like the natural way of this is what it should be when something specific happens in the game that it just naturally shows up. Like something like Kingdom Hearts Days, I like that one a lot because like there are days where like the character you're playing as will just get sick or wake up late and that will affect specific stats. Like, oh, you lose a couple levels because you woke up late for the day. And like I guess I'm just used to even small things like that directly focusing, like affecting how battles work. But it's like if that sort of thing is what it feels like it's integrating both sides of the games together, I don't. It feels how do I put this? It feels like because that feels common to me from what I've seen, or like the easiest answer to the question. So it feels, I guess, kind of weird to hear that as the ideal solution or like the one that you would recommend first, when in my head it doesn't really register as like something that I just wouldn't be doing anyways. Does that make sense? Does that sound rude at all?
so sorry, I'm trying to unpack all of that. So to get to the nitty gritty of the argument, like, yeah, it's really easy to just say, no, duh, every game should be doing that. But it's also just as easy to kind of naturally kind of construct what is a story that exists for the convenience of the game design. Maybe specifically in that case, the issues are not analogous in Trails re Lisa. But like to give an example of what specifically I mean, stories are kind of these things that live or die based on their pacing. A really, really incompetent, inept story that messes up characters constantly or does a lot of incongruous mistakes can still be really engaging and gripping if the pacing is right. Video games kind of inherently inherit this problem of pacing where you kind of have a person who is responsible for the pacing of the game outside of your skill as a writer. Like, I ask an open question. Has anyone ever played a video game where you have eaten your fill of it, proverbially, as much as I don't like to mix the metaphor of food and, culture? You've had your fill of it, and you are like, okay, I could stand for this game to end soon. And then it goes on for another 30 hours, and maybe, that's not the worst thing, but you were kind of hoping for the pacing's sake it would end.
All the time.
Hmm.
this is a kind of problem that exists with this kind of disconnect where the game really, really wants you to have big, epic JRPG boss fights. But like in the case of characters like I have watched like 3 videos about it at this point, and at this point I don't know how to pronounce her goddamn name anymore. So uh I will say it how I was saying it in the beginning, and if I'm wrong, then everyone can yell at me on Blue Sky or whatever. Rene, Purple Scythe Girl. The entire narrative aspect of her character comes from this fact that she is a child and she has been horrifically traumatized, and she has basically brainwashed herself into thinking that the only way to resolve problems is through violence. The main characters essentially want to communicate with her and basically let her know that she has an avenue in life that does not involve violence, and that she is free to abandon that path for herself whenever she chooses to. Having the story then go, all right, well, here's an epic boss fight, and also you're going to fight her pet Gundam. I'm not saying it can't work, but the way it does work and how it facilitates the story, where you have a fight with her and explicitly you then have the video gamey, you gotta fight her Gundam before you can convince her to not kill you, feels a little strange for a pacing perspective. Another example is we hear this character that he is the scariest, biggest sword man who has ever been. And we hear that he is super scary and very cool, and he kills a lot of people or whatever. Having a fight that exists for the convenience of the game design, where he is now suddenly allowed to shadow clone himself and summon healing lions, feels a little incongruous when the skills that he is established to have is that he's really good with a sword. I don't know that being really good with a sword lets you tame lions, but apparently here we go. So obviously I'm being flippant here, but what I'm trying to articulate is that beyond the immediate like Lisa example, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of games have things that the game designer said this would probably be cool. What if you fought 11 bosses back to back, but the story kind of, in multiple cases where the characters literally don't want to be killing that person or fighting that person, you're not given any option, and it feels like, again, like I said, those 2 buckets of paint that refuse to mix together but are forced to inhabit the same can. It would be, I don't know, the same oddity that happens in a lot of games where you kill thousands of unnamed people and you have to spare the one guy at the end of it. That's kind of what I mean. The reason that like RPGs struggle with this kind of thing more than other genres is that leveling up is kind of inherently analogous with a story arc. Becoming stronger is inherently a story. And a lot of these games add additional story on top of the character arc of becoming stronger, and that can be a type of ludonarrative synthesis. But the problem, as I experience it, is the game repeatedly forces there, like, okay, here's a dungeon. There needs to be a dungeon, and even though there are completely understandable logical reasons why you don't need to be dungeon delving right now, we needed there to be a dungeon, so here's a dungeon. That's kind of what I mean, where there's like a ludonarrative dissonance that happens because outside of these gameplay story ramifications, the characters are all pretty smart and they come up with the best idea that they have available. But then sometimes they just kind of willingly capitulate to the game designer saying, hey, you're going to have to walk through a really long hallway for a long time. There's some chests in there. Forget the fact that this is a lost civilization and there are randomly sodas here. It's fine. This is a dungeon. It doesn't matter.
All right. Okay. That is a much, that, I don't know how to say this in the nicest way I can. That is a much more, I guess, interesting answer, or one that I wasn't like, hadn't thought about anywhere as much.
I'm
I do
happy to help.
notice. I do notice sometimes I get worried about which way I should make the concession because, like, sometimes you do just need to make the concessions for a story and a game to be functional. Like, one of the characters in mine, for instance, that's I just had to throw a character that does healing stuff in there because, like, for all the things you can take away from an RPG, you cannot say, okay, but you also just can't heal unless, like, you drastically change how the game operates. And I
Mhm.
don't really want to do that because like I want to make a specific kind of game that isn't like that. So I get worried, but I get worried sometimes I do go a bit too much into the, well, I mean, if the gameplay's fine, who's gonna care? But hearing that people do care and have things to say about it is sort of reassuring that that is worth caring about and that I should be doing that.
And I mean, like, people have different levels of tolerances for that kind of thing. Like, maybe it's a little weird in Pokemon Black or whatever that you kind of implicitly know that the weird anti-Pokemon terrorist organization is going to be wrong because you're playing fucking Pokemon. Like, you're not given the choice to be like, maybe this Pokemon thing is a little fucked up and deciding to progress without them. Not really an option. But also, that's not the jab of that game. But all the same, with stories where characters are not operating immediately within the convenience of game design, it becomes dissonant. Because again, uh, regardless of how you feel about the Mr. Ego Raptor, he did get one thing right where he said where games that are closer to reality often invoke situations where you are more likely to have to stipulate on them. The more you point out the inherent analogousness with real life, the more you have to comment on it. So, with something like Pokemon, which is inherently larger than life, it matters less, whereas a game that wants to have the semblance of being grounded, it bothers me specifically a lot more. Dragon Quest, as an example, wouldn't bother me as much because that game is so absurdly cartoony that I'd just be like, okay, yeah, whatever.
They got slimes in this one.
They got slimes in this one, brother. Nothing matters. Anyway, someone else should talk now.
I could talk about the dumb shit that I did. You're talking about, the gameplay mechanics of an RPG and the story and all that. I did something bad. I did something real bad. I have been playing Hacker's Memory still, and I went, you know what I'm gonna do? I was like, I'm going to set up the grind shortener, and I'm gonna make my
Oh
Digimon
no.
extremely powerful, and then I'm gonna blow through the rest of the game. So what you do is, I don't know if you're familiar with. So I don't know everyone's familiarity with Digimon. Um, who here knows what a Numamon is?
I do not.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, I I, I I'm not gonna go through the effort of pulling up an image because also people are listening. Whatever. But Numemon is a little green slime guy who is a Digimon who his main attack is throwing poop. He throws turds, and he's made out of basically caca poo poo pee pee. And they made versions of Numemon called Gold Numemon and Platinum Numemon. Gold Numemon, when you have Gold Numemon in your party, when you finish a battle in the Cyber Sleuth games, you get extra money. And when you have Platinum Numemon in your party, you get extra experience. So I guess it's like the slimes in Dragon Quest, Um, so if you get 3 Platinum Numemons, which involves like leveling up a bunch of Digimon, because the way that Cyber Sleuth works is you have to like de-digivolve and re-digivolve stuff over and over to like build stats and to give you a bigger level cap and stuff. So if you get 3 Platinum Numemon, you then have to manufacture 9 Tactician USBs, which are like random drops from like you can tell your Digimon to manufacture stuff, and they'll sometimes make them. It's not guaranteed, but you can save right before you get the call that says that they're done and just reset until you get it, which is what I did. And then every time that you win a single battle with the 3 Numemon, Platinum Numemon, all equipped with the tactical USBs, you get like enough experience points to raise a Digimon from level 1 to level 50. And of course, there's diminishing returns as you go, but you know, it makes it so you can raise a Digimon from level 1 to level 99 within 15 minutes instead of hours and hours and hours. It takes a while to set that up initially, but then once you get it set up, you're good to go. But again, you have to de-digivolve and re-digivolve stuff a bunch of times to raise your stat gain caps and stuff like that. But again, being able to get them to 99 and then de-digivolving them and then re-digivolving them like makes those stat caps go up higher. So the Numemon makes it easier. And so I've been doing that, and then I've been grinding up their stats, and so I have a couple of like perfectly statted perfect like mega Digimon that I'm like halfway through the game, but I have like a bunch of perfect Digimon that can just steamroll the rest of it, and that are basically like competitively viable if they're, I mean, because there is a versus mode in this game, and I don't know who the fuck is playing it, but what I have right now is equivalent to like a handful of competitively viable Digimon, and I'm just gonna use them to blow through the rest of the game, so I can be done with it before Time Stranger comes out.
It sounds like you've hacked the game like a true Digidestin.
I guess so. I mean, except if it was a real Digidestin, the Digimon would be, I would have one, and it would be my friend. And I don't know what I think what I did is not something a friend would do. Doesn't seem like it, but that's what I did. But I also did play the Time Stranger demo that dropped. That shit was good. That was a great demo. I loved the style. It has a really, really nice, like it looks really nice. I played it on PS5. Yeah, it looks stunning. Great music because it's Masafumi Takada again. You know, same thing as Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, as well as Danganronpa, as we talked about earlier, and No More Heroes and Killer 7, etc., etc. So all of the audio visual stuff is fantastic, and the gameplay is just fun too. It's pretty standard RPG type stuff. You're going around and collecting your Digimon by, when you defeat a Digimon, it fills up a bar, and when it fills up to 100, you can generate your own. And if it fills up to 200, you get better stats. So you want to fill out to 200. And then you can like feed Digimon, like as you like when you generate one, you can then they're added into like your PC party basically, and then you can mash them together and then build the stat bonuses that way. So it's not like Cyber Sleuth you have to digivolve and de-digivolve again. It's just like your stat, you can make your stat caps go up just by battling and then generating Digimon to feed into the Digimon that you want to keep, which is way easier, takes way less time, just a better system for sure. It's not a very long demo. I just enjoyed running through it. Very excited for that game. Is there anything that any of you are interested in knowing about Time Stranger that I could be more specific about?
Is
The narrative premise of Time Stranger.
Okay. The premise is that you are a secret agent that deals with anomalies. Basically, like they posit it as like I don't know if I'd say it's like 1-to-1 with like an SCP Foundation kind of thing, but you're they initially kind of posited as you be like going after like UMAs and cryptids and shit, but like every cryptid and UMA in this universe is just a Digimon, so you're basically just going after Digimon. Um, and the general premise is that there is a walled off section of I guess Tokyo that is just earthquakes are happening in this walled off area. So you travel into there, and there's this giant Digimon just showing up there, and they didn't really go too much further into what is going on with that. But I guess that's the mystery is you're like, why is this giant Digimon showing up and tearing up the earth? Why are I guess you get teleported into the digital world eventually. Why does that happen? They haven't really shown too much of what's going on per se. But it's a pretty generic sort of like you're just a spy type character going in and trying to figure out what's going on.
Making SCPs and creepypastas into Digimon is a pretty clever idea. I like that.
They were trying to do that with the last season of the anime, Ghost Game, and they kind of dropped the ball. So maybe this will be a better version of that. Because in the anime, like the thing that was so frustrating was that, it was Monster of the Week, and obviously, that's not always lots of Monster of the Week stuff can be very good, but the problem was they started to introduce overarching narrative stuff, and they would start to move that forward, and then they would interrupt it with just a ton more Monster of the Week, and it was just so uneven, and they didn't really get to finish anything in a satisfying way by the end of the show. So it was a mess. But again, I do like the concept of being like, oh yeah, here's this, like, oh, if you look in the bathroom mirror with the lights off and say Bloody Mary 5 times, it summons Bloody Mary. And it's like, well, it's kind of true, but it's actually a Digimon and it wants to hang out with you, and it's not actually a scary monster that's trying to kill you. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Sometimes Digimon do want to just eat you. Sometimes they're just like, hey, what's up? I'm your buddy. Good. you know? But I'm very much looking forward to Time Stranger. Big excited for that. Lily, it sounded like you had a question to ask. What did I answer it or?
No, you answered it.
Okay.
Wait a minute. This game has Digimon in it? I'm out.
I'm out of here. Nah, I'm waiting for new monster. I mean, I'm waiting for a new monster.
Is Pikachu there?
Agumon is there, and that's as close to Pikachu as is in Digimon, I guess.
Oh, oh, I'm your grandma and I can't see very good. Is this Pikachu from your Digimon game? John, do you want the Pikachu
I do.
toy?
I do. I mean, I do. One
Do you
last
want to
thing.
collect those little Pokemon creatures?
God, so bad. So bad. One last thing. I did get an item in the mail. I got the Atari speaker hat. I can't put it on because I'm wearing the headphones. But I can put on whatever the hell I want.
John, how many little Pokemon or Digimon creatures do you own? 'Cause I'm going through my lineup right now. I've got 2.
Like plushies, or are you asking how many like copies of the games that I have?
Plushies, they're like toys or whatever. Because I got this is a completely unrelated tangent, but I got a new bed recently.
Hmm.
Like I moved a new one in, and because I had to get all my plushies off of my bed because I
Hmm.
put all my plushies on my bed because I'm a fucking grown up.
Of course.
This is what you do, and they're still in a box because I had to put them in the who's Squadella.
I can do this.
And we're off.
I can do this anytime now. This is my
You
life.
are a menace. You are a menace of the public bus the world over.
Guadela button. Oh my god, why do I have so many of these? When did I buy?
Okay, I'm gonna have to like turn around. Let me see. I don't have too many like plushies of Pokemon. I have some figures. Uh I have a shit ton of figures. I have a lot of Mewtwo specifically because Mewtwo is my favorite. It's not my favorite Pokemon ever, but he's up there, and they make a lot of merch of him. So, like 1, 2, 3. Like, yeah, I have like 15 figures over there, but some of them are just like little like things. Some of them are model kits. Some of them are like I have the amiibo from Mewtwo over there. I have a wind up toy that I got for like $3 at a convention. You know,
You got me beat by a landslide. I've only got plushies of Bulbasaur and Rockruff.
I only have
I have
one plushie.
which one?
Not of Pokemon, just in general.
I mean, I got all those motherfuckers over there. I just got a new plushie actually because I got the I got a Penny from Endless Monday Dreams and Deadlines. Great game. Everyone should play it. Um, they have the plushie of her, and she's sitting next to Sky, also in that game. There you go.
I have a giant cylindrical plushie of Baphomet, and he is literally so big that I struggle to put my arms fully around him while embracing him.
That's cute.
Oh, you're so lucky. I wish I had a plushie that big. I
I
think the biggest one. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing to admit because it got really obnoxious after the fact. But when I played Mouthwashing for the first time at the start of this year, I got it off of the Steam family I'm in. I was just like, someone mentioned this game earlier to me today, so I'll just play it tonight. And I played it and I was like, that was really good. I feel kind of bad I didn't support the devs at all. So I bought I think like the day after I finished it, they announced the Anya plushie. So I was like, you know what? I'll just buy that. Sure, why not? And seeing the merch that the series is they're doing, I don't know why I say series. Seeing the merch they're doing now for it, it's like, man, I feel like an asshole owning this now, even though it wasn't like that when I just bought the single
it's such a
doll.
weird thing. Yeah.
I hope this hurts.
It's
The
It
shirt.
does hurt to own. Yeah, why would you put that on the fucking? It still is not. I mean, it's kind of bad because they have the like pill bottle with her as like a magneted thing that you can attach to
Okay.
her hand,
All right.
which it sucks. Not only for the obvious reasons, but the magnet is really bad, so I keep losing it and then it
not
will
even a
fall off.
good
It's
magnet.
permanent.
Like I have like one of those little Tsum Tsums, but it's Da Vinci from Fate Grand Order.
Aw, that's cute.
Bug.
Bug. Um, I don't know,
Anyway,
yeah. um, Crystal, is there anything you want to discuss?
Running a bit long, so I figure I might just offer a question to close out the podcast with.
Okay.
Um, SCPs and creepypastas are communicated in a digital format, which is why it's clever to interpret them as Digimon. What other things communicated in a digital format would you like to see reinterpreted as Digimon?
Is that what Digimon are supposed to be? Like little modified versions of online ideas and stuff?
So, kinda, kinda. The one time that they tried to make it very direct was when they did Appmon, and that almost killed the franchise. There is a Digimon in the Appmon franchise that is called Tweetmon, and it is supposed to be Twitter.
Oh,
is he like a horrible, hateful creature?
Well, no, because he's named Tweetmon, which is before that happened. Well, before it got that bad.
Let's not pretend Twitter was
Yeah.
anything more than what it was. It was not a fallen soldier. That place was always a shithole.
Yeah, but
It's
very,
Gotchmon.
very extreme shithole difference. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, does it matter if the shithole gives you like cholera or gonorrhea? They're both bad.
They are bad, but hey, the old shithole was one I made friends on, and the new one, all my friends left, so now I just use Blue Sky.
It always befuddles me, and I know we're moving off the track of the question in the first place, but I never understand the social media apps because in general I don't understand how people form an economy of social interaction because odds are if I talk to someone more than one time in a row in a reply thread, I will think to myself, and now they're justified to kill me, and then I will never speak to them again.
I don't know about that one.
Having social anxiety and being an extrovert is really stupid, I'll have you know.
I mean,
Anyway,
what I did was just, oh, these are people that I've talked to and replies every so often. I should send them a message in the DMs function of, hey, do you use anything like a Discord that would be easier to talk with you with? And
Mm.
then they either ignore me and I know I don't have to pursue them further, or they say yes, and now I talk to them consistently, and that rocks, and I like that.
Sure.
It's just one message that you have to send out, and either you've made a friend or you can just like basically tell them, okay, fuck off in your own brain.
see, that's fair.
It's,
I
it's
like
the
the
fun.
black mold in my Steam library just kind of manifest in people's servers and then they struggle to get rid of me. But to answer Crystal's question, things that I think could be subsequently digitized. Uh, so here's the thing. I don't mean to punt straight away, but there is a targeted demographic of like cryptids on the internet. Like dude who exclusively wants to post about trains or like whoever operates very niche wikis. So give me like whatever it is the Digimon equivalent of someone's entire vested knowledge catalog of like the steam train.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got a lot of answers. John might want to go through his list first.
No, I mean go ahead. I mean.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Morshumon for one.
Okay. What the fuck
Is
are you
that what you're?
talking about? No. Are you like, oh John?
Is
Hey,
it
guess what?
Squadalamon?
What?
Would it be Squadalamon instead?
Man,
Is that
don't.
too specific?
Are you? Look.
I don't know anything about Digimon. I was just told they're internet things.
You just do what you want. Okay, okay, you can
No,
make up whatever you want.
I want earnestly. I want earnestly YTP Mon. I think making a little more
Sure.
shoe that you have to fling around and fight would be really funny. Buys white bread Mon and like it's got a little
No,
shopping cart that it ferries around that it puts a
please.
bunch of white bread in, Wonder Bread.
Mysterious furry benefactor Mon.
It's just a piece of paper that other Digimon are drawn on, but with really weird proportions.
And it's worth a lot. They're trading that. I don't know. See, like I like just the idea of them being these like digital constructs that exist. You know, because that's what it was originally supposed to be. It was just like they are these creatures that exist in the digital realm. They existed before humans started to interact with them, and there's just like a connection now because we have entered the digital age or so. But like, um, yeah, I mean, if we're doing Atmon style stuff, yeah, there's a lot of stuff they didn't do because, like I said, it fucking tanked. Almost
I mean,
ended Digimon.
I don't want there to be a Digimon equivalent to like fucking Spampton.
I mean, like I I guess I mean, there's virus type Digimon, but I would say that maybe the closest thing I could think of to like a virus that spreads around like spam mail would be like the Diaboromon line. I would think, because that's
Is
like
there
what it does, kind of.
is there a Cryptomon?
Probably not yet, but because I think Appmon was before that proliferated. You know, at to obviously crypto is older than. But,
Grokmon.
oh Christ. Woke Grokmon. That's what it turns into.
This is a dark conversation.
It's a bad conversation. I think we have to.
Can you do me a favor and just hit the stop stream button?
Yeah, can we quit the stream?
Chris, okay. Crystal, do you have an answer before we move on? Is there one that you've thought of?
If I remember my Digimon lore correctly, it's not per se related to the internet. It's more like the realm of the collective unconscious of all digital computers.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess I would want like a Unixmon who's like a little penguin who types on the keyboard to make stuff happen.
Okay. I can see that. I'm a little surprised they haven't done like some kind of crossover where it's just like, yeah, you can just have the Linux Penguin as a Digimon. I don't know. Because they've been doing crossovers.
Linamon.
Yeah, they've been doing crossovers recently that are just like, oh hey, here's a monster hunter one, so you can have a Rathalos. There's a Godzilla one, so you can just have Godzilla as a Digimon. But
Does that not imply that like every Digimon, like every video game character is capable of being a Digimon? Like I don't want to see Kratosmon walking around.
I mean, I guess that implies that, but they're just not able to do that because of laws.
Couldn't they cycle it back around and therefore make the Agumon from the Digimon video games its own individual Digimon, as it acts as a representation of the Digimon series?
Can be. I think so.
Meta Agumon, hell yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Man, that's way better than the other idea I had, Neonflatamon.
That exists as well. You have to accept that.
I mean, we get real meta. We have Digimon Inflationmon.
I mean, there is
And it all comes full circle, ladies
this
and
has come
gentlemen.
back twice. Yeah, you need to turn that stream button off.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a challenging episode of the podcast for many reasons. But for real, thank you so much, everybody. We are very thankful for everyone who continues to support us by listening, by sharing. Any sharing, any spreading the word is greatly appreciated. We have our website, gamesline.net, where you can go on there and you can read stuff that we write. You can check out old episodes of the podcast. We've got it all up on there. We have our Blue Sky account, which is also gamesline.net. You follow us on there. That's probably the best way to keep up with what we're doing and to talk with us on the social media front. We have our Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com. You can also follow us on there, but don't bother sending us questions through there because it eats the questions and we can't read them. Our YouTube, youtube.com/@thegamesline. You might be watching this right now on there. Go ahead and subscribe because every week we have a new episode. Sometimes more. Our Twitch, you might be watching it right now. Twitch.tv/GameslineTV. That's where we live stream these recordings every week now. Go to patreon.com/Gamesline. $3, you get our anime podcast Unlimited Real Works a whole week early. We're going to be having a new... Probably by the time you hear this, there will be a new episode of that out on the Patreon. So there you go. And come to our Discord server, thegamezone.zone. That is probably actually the best way to contact us if you so choose. If you don't want to deal with Discord, I understand. But if you have a Discord and you want to hang out, there you go. And thank you, Melt Channel /Magic Circuit, for our theme song Crush off of the album Magic is Real. you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. Make sure you pick up their stuff on Bandcamp Friday. Then they get the full cut. Nikolas, where can people find you?
People can find me at sursicactus.bsky.social.
Yeah, now that is Sir Psy Cactus. SIRPSY Cactus.
Yes. I have a Morag PFP. If you click on it and see a cool drawing of a Danganronpa character, you're there.
Crystal, where can people find you?
Arcane Crystal on Blue Sky. Go to audioentropy.com. Listen to Eidolon Playtest. We got count them, two miniseries going on right now. There's Eidolon Romance, inspired by the music of My Chemical Romance, about the warriors / Mad Max gangs in the future fighting against the tyranny of Battery City. And Eidolon Flashback, inspired by any music before 1970, where a secret organization uses a time machine to conquer all of time simultaneously.
Pretty neat. And Lily, where can people find you?
You can find me on galilus.tira.bsky.social.
You can find me at john.gamesline.net on Blue Sky. You could also type that in on your web browser and it'll bring you to author page. Gamesline. There you go. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And one last announcement thing, I suppose. I forget if I mentioned it on here, but we're on episode 67. So in 2 weeks from now, we'll be recording our episode 69 episode, which is where we will be taking questions and answering questions based on sex and romance. We need those questions, so send in your questions that you want us to answer, and we will try our best to do. But that's it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. So long.
Bye bye.